but I guess my entire body being on fire does not work well for a
That's okay. That's what
non-sequitur.
started it, so that's even more exciting.
We know what you
Right.
mean, but the internet doesn't.
Take that, internet. Um, so my description of what happened last week is gonna suck, and I apologize in advance. Um, we basically wrapped things up in the halfling village. Uh, Penelope had a quick little heart-to-heart with her dad and was like, "Oh shit, look at me. I can conveyor belt across the water." Um uh Sad horse was sad horse, but he got ice cream. Um Iron and Penelope had a chat. Uh I'm probably skipping a lot of shit. Oh yeah. Annis and Iden went gardening so that Iden could have food, which ended up being a salad with cookies on it. Um, let's see. Uh, more shit happened. I don't remember. Penelope got a sword. Hell yeah,
Hooray.
sword. The lady popped out of the waterfall. Um,
Annis finally saw you walking on water. Finally.
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 Um, and then they went to Finland to visit the Edelfelts.
But how did they
And
get to Finland?
huh?
How did they get to Finland?
Via water. Diana taught Penelope how to do the thing where they travel through the water, and they did it. And then they showed up, and it was rain.
Uh,
Did you cut out?
seems like you cut out.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit. But it was raining, is where you cut out. And you were still out. You're gone. It's over. You've disconnected from the server.
Uh oh. So we got to Finland, and it was raining lots, and we made our way to the mansion of the Edelfelts. Let's see.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what all happened while we were there.
We got to meet
We got to
everybody.
re-meet Fadon, who now has a more updated Picrew. We finally met Lovisa face to face. A lot more sprightly and not quite as old as expected because of Anis's potion. And then we also met Luvia's sister, whose name also started with an L.
It's true. Well, not her name. Her name is Tatiana.
Tatiana. That's right. That's right. Luvia's sister, Lovisa's other granddaughter, Tatiana, who is basically just the exact opposite of Luvia. Very shy, very withdrawn, in some sort of arranged marriage.
But she's happy with it.
That's canon.
Lovisa knew pretty much everything that was going on, and Ennis didn't really question how. She might question how now, but she knew pretty much everything that was going on, and she intends to enter the Grail War herself, so Aiden will not be getting her ticket in. She wants to resummon the same servant she had in the first time, and just is in it for the love of the game, it seems like. They so far have not, to Anis's knowledge, made any sort of actual, like, binding agreement to not attack each other, but it's understood she won't attack Anis won't attack her. They will just leave each other alone until they have to fight, if they have to fight. And And then Penelope went and had a one-on-one chat with Lovisa that none of us were privy to, where she made some sort of deal with her. I'm just stalling for time to see if Zip comes back.
Yeah. I was gonna say she was very much like warned us about the assassin.
Oh, yep, she did say that the nice ones are the ones that get targeted early by the assassin. So that's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
and yeah,
Oh,
because
no, her servant was a saber.
yeah,
And then, fun fact, I went on some wikis
Ruh-roh.
and tried to see if her servant was ever, like, if anyone ever said what her servant was or anything like that. And, like, all we know is that her and her sister summoned two facets of the same saber that was represented by King Arthur, but was not
Right.
actually King Arthur.
But was not King Arthur,
No.
yeah.
So no one knows, which is great.
Fun.
Fun.
Creative
So
Yeah.
freedoms.
even trying to acquire illegal meta knowledge, I failed.
I mean, canonically, she does not have an appearance or a name either. So, like, when she shows up in Hollow Ataraxia, they're reusing Rin and Sakura to represent the sisters, and they don't mention their names or even what they're necessarily good at. So I took a lot of liberties there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and we had a brief little like side chat where it's just like Ida and Annis wanted to pretty much just warn her as well because we brought up two of the three kind of main problems. We're like, yeah, either like you can stay near us or leave because we got to face the butcher. And then Iden offered her like at any point if she wants it, and she didn't take the offer, but it still stands. If she needs protections for her friend, her servant, he would gladly give him a little protection. Cause he's like, if you just want to hang out with your friend, that's pretty cool. That's chill. Got no problems with that. Old lady just wants to have tea time.
I'm trying to remember. I think the nature of the deal that Penelope made was for some sort of help against the butcher, but it was a fey deal. There was like ominous whispering and shit, but we don't know about that.
We don't know jack shit.
It's all weird and stuff.
It's all weird and stuff, and you better
I
hope.
just had a really brief chat with Fidon, basically just asking if he was going to be going into the grill war with Lovisa, and he seems like he will be.
Yeah, his deal in general is that he's supporting the family, and that's a much worse deal when you live as long as half elves do.
Oh, he's all. I thought he was full elf. I didn't know he was half elf.
I think he was a half elf. You'd think I would remember, but I would. Let me check right now so that I'm not just lying to you. My own memories.
I thought he was full elf
Okay,
too.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank goodness.
Let me see. What did I make you?
Crazy.
I made this character like 4 years ago. Let me check.
Yeah,
No, he's a half elf. He's just a half elf.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry if I've been portraying him as full, but he's just a half. That's
He's
why
still
his
like
ears are not all
baby.
big in the art.
He is still a druid.
Yes, he is a druid. He's
still
very
got
long
the-
lived. It's just different.
Do you, Rumi, want to elaborate on the nature of the deal you actually made with Lovisa? Because I can't remember.
Not right now because I didn't get a chance to re-listen to that.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's my fault. It
so-
took me a long time to upload.
It's all good. So
Just
that's the recap.
she made it. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Yeah, she made a deal. Deals happen. Woo.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
That's
about
the
it's fine.
extremely chaotic recap.
it. Ooh.
D&D!
Durgens and
I didn't lose my
Durgens.
connection again.
It's more dramatic that way.
Hmm.
So yeah, then you decided that you were going to hang out for a little bit, check out the gardens, check out the state in general, the rain pass, and then eventually you're going to move on over to Germantown.
Oh, did you see my message about the text I sent?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excuse me.
Yeah, like, Anis would have some, nice, pleasant chit-chats with Fidon and Lovisa while they wait out the rain. It's nothing that has to happen on screen.
Sure.
No shady fey deals happening here.
Don't worry about it.
I think Aiden's gonna ask really quick if Luvisa has a phone. And if she wants to
she points at this large device that is sitting on a little table.
Oh my
which is
God.
probably also foreign to Aiden.
Oh,
but it reminds him of the
100%.
one in the hotel room, only fancier.
Penelope, this doesn't look like the ones or sorry. Yeah, oh, his
Zion?
tongue is still active. Yeah. He's just like, this doesn't look like the one you have. Or I have. Or
It's got a
Anis.
little wheel on it.
Wait, where are we?
We're still in the castle. We're still
was
in the
just-
Edelfelt castle.
In the. Okay,
Just-
we're still in
Yeah,
the.
he just, I wanted to get a phone number before we leave. And I was pointed to this giant monstrosity.
Anis will
Okay.
quietly ask Vidon if he has a phone.
He has a more modern phone, yes.
Anis and only
Because I think you
Anis.
already texted him, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, how else would I have gotten in contact with him? Okay. Never mind. Ignore that.
Yeah, got that Cruella de Vil phone up in here.
Oh, Jesus.
Not as overtly evil, but it is an old rotary with a plunger that you put the phone on and everything.
Oh,
Fun
fun.
times.
Be like, somebody help me with this later. But I would like that. And that's pretty much his thing. Like, that's it.
You get the general impression that more low-tech phones work better in some environments.
Hey.
But yeah, otherwise you've got chill time if you'd like to, decide later that you had any conversations while you were here and they don't lead to violence, then we can flesh those out as needed. But we can move on. Nobody violence. All right, so when are you going to Germany? Same day? Are you going to ask to stay the night? Like, what's up?
Probably same day.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You calling in advance or you just going on over?
Anis would call the castle phone.
Okay. Right. So calling the castle phone. It rings twice and then it is picked up. And a woman's voice is there. And she says, in German, Einzberns Castle, how can I help you?
Oh, is this Echo or one of the sisters?
Echo is my sister. Echoville is my sister. My name is Amelia.
Well, nice to meet you, Amelia. If it's not too much trouble, can you get Echo or Kwaku?
Sure. One moment, please. And you can hear a phone being physically sat down and some pitter-patter as someone walks away.
Got one of the sisters. Her name is Amelia.
Oh wait, hold on. I've caught up with you guys by this point, right? I assume so.
Yeah, we've had like hours of conversation and
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just abstracted out some time passing so that we can fill in gaps later if we need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, you're all
Yeah.
assumingly ready to go soon.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, I've talked to Amelia.
Oh, I'm excited to get to meet all of the new homoculi.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
I've heard.
Okay. After a moment goes by, you get in English this time. Yes, this is Kwaku. How can I help you?
Kwaku, it's Anis.
Oh, thank God.
Just letting you know that we are on the way. We've got a small party. It's me and of course Penelope and Derek and Johnny and a new emissary and Aiden.
Very small party.
Okay. I will make sure they get dinner together. Are there any dietary considerations?
Well, gotta be vegetarian for Aiden.
Okay.
Make sure there's coffee.
Naturally.
That's just about it. Yeah, we're coming to pay a visit.
Okay, I will. Are you going to be coming in via the forest, or are you taking some shortcut?
I think we're coming out of the lake.
Interesting choice. Okay, I will let them know not to attack you on sight.
Good, thank you.
They're very careful about that now that there's enough of them that they can prioritize security again.
Good, good.
And walking out of the lake is generally seen as intimidating as fuck.
That's why we called ahead. Can
Thank
you
you.
imagine us just doing it and just
Yes,
showing up?
yes, I can.
Unannounced? Yes, you probably can. See you soon, Kwaku. She hangs up.
Fair enough. Click. Brrr. All right. With that, so you're gonna go via the lake.
I guess so, yeah.
All right. Let's.
Well, can we? Is there like a number of times you can do that spell per day, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Once per day.
We can say you were here long enough to get the rest in if you want.
Okay. Yeah,
Or
once per
we could play this out and we could actually have to take public transit.
Trade time.
Oh my god.
I mean,
But I
you
really
know the
wanna
train
try
doesn't get
Kwaku
that
to the
close.
lake.
We'll just say that you spent a while here and it's covered. Like, I'm not that stressful about that in the midst of gameplay.
I want to
even now-
try and do something a little crazy with this lake transport thing. So
Oh,
Okay.
is Diana coming with us?
If you're relying on transport, she has to.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about this. If it was just Penelope, then two of us would have to take a bus, and I was gonna volunteer Annis and Derek.
she's just like, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm sticking with you guys for a while. Sorry. Until I am called away.
You are now public transit.
I'm a bus.
You are suffering the fate of whoever learns teleport in a given game. You no longer get those spell
We'll
slots.
be able to walk through trees. It's fine.
Look, I've got a sorcerer with teleport in a Pathfinder game, and I don't use those spell slots for anything else. That's what the party does.
Oh no.
It happens. Okay, so yeah, you can. It's not raining anymore. I'm not going to pull up the map because there's no point if you're just going to leave. But yeah, so once you've wrapped up your time there, I'll just advance the clock to dinner time so that we can. So you were there long enough to count this as a rest.
Yay.
Hooray! 7 p.m. Why not? What are you doing with your group?
So whichever group goes with Penelope is gonna have to deal with her being crazy. And
I'm in.
She wants to try and go and enter the Einzberns castle through the grotto.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Fucking
Okay.
God.
Is that a big enough? Oh my god.
I'm gonna
okay.
get stuck. My fat ass.
I mean, it's a big
Hold on, I
space.
gotta roll. Well, no, you can take like two or three other people. So
3, yeah. I think. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Is
Are
it
you-
3?
It's 3 people in addition to yourself.
Okay, then yeah, I can take 3 people.
are you saying anything out loud about doing?
Oh no,
anything?
she's not gonna say where she's going or like how, like what specific spot she's going to go to. She's gonna let Diana know since they're gonna need to coordinate, but
Yeah, Annis she can see just a look of mischief, and she's just like, I will be going with Diana.
Aiden and Penelope just had their talk, so like Aiden is gonna try and go with Penelope. Yeah. He's gonna trust her as he normally, he's just like do. Looks over to
Yep.
Annis and is like, should I be concerned?
Annis just shrugs.
All right, is Diana in on this too?
I mean, she knows what Penelope's up to.
I'm just asking where you're going. Like, you control both of them, so.
It's true.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. She's also gonna try and go via grotto.
Okay.
I feel so bad for Kwaku. Kwaku's like, we're gonna not kill you on sight at the lake, but we never mentioned.
I mean,
At
Yeah,
the grotto.
Annis said lake.
I mean, yeah, Anna's never asked, so
okay. So Penelope
Annis
and
assumed that if that
Diana.
was the plan, she would be corrected while she was still on the phone.
she didn't know what Radis was talking about.
Penelope and Diana get to both make Arcana checks.
Oh lord.
Wait, why?
Because you're trying to do this through a bounded field.
Oh no. Okay, hold please.
The lake was expecting you, so they took it down for there. This is different. Beautiful. Okie dokie. So let's just pull up that there map. All right, and who's in which group?
I'm in Penelope's.
And I assume Johnny is also in Penelope's group.
Yeah.
And then I assume Annis and Derek are in the Diana group.
That makes sense to me.
So I know Annis said she was going with Diana.
Yeah, I'm assuming Derek is with the same party. Cool. So first up, let's share Yieldy map.
Hey.
Now we're gonna drag some things onto it. Boop. 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 Burp, 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 burp. Smaller bird. Okay, and let's see here. You guys are there. Give me a D100, Penelope.
Oh no. Hold please. That's a 99?
Okay. That's really funny. Okay. So all right, is everybody ready? I get to
Yeah.
describe stuff.
Oh boy.
All right. Hold on. Come on, Fantasy Grounds, load. It's thinking. Okay, so Diana, Annis, Derek, and Hemlock go beneath the water, and then they pop up within an indoor location that Annis has seen before. Derek, I don't think, got to see this on his last trip, but this is in fact the grotto, as planned, and no issues.
This is not the lake.
Yes, Penelope said she wanted to try and go in through the grottos. So
Well, that. Wait, where is she then?
I
This is the grotto.
don't know.
Okay, so now we're gonna
I hope
ignore
she was
your-
able to figure it out. I know she's only done this one time, so. Oh no, is that a void?
No, I just went too many levels down. So ignore where they are now because they're on the upper floor. And Penelope
Oh no!
and Aiden and Johnny. Oh, over here. Find yourselves in the bathtub.
Oh my fucking god.
You're in the nice lower large bathing area. And as such, you are not alone.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
I better not be Kwaku.
It is not.
Oh, Jesus. Oh no, that might make it worse. Is it rats?
Do I really not have
It's
one
the
handy?
Goliath, isn't it?
No, they're not still here. They
Aw,
moved.
damn.
It's been like weeks. They went home.
My second thought is like, is it raps?
Raps would
He
not go
would
in there. That would be
dissolve.
very bad for him. Do I
That's
not have-
Gunther.
No. Gunter's not allowed here. You know what? I can't find a token, but I'm just going to say there are multiple homunculi in here right now cleaning.
No!
Well,
No! Oh, he's fucking running. Just like right into the door.
actually, no, this is
Wait.
funnier. Let me use these.
Oh no.
All right, hold on.
He's right into the door.
Because I haven't used them in a while, it's more fun if I do it this way.
No!
Oh my
No.
god.
They're not ghosts, they're just submerged.
What?
He's fucking just eyes covered like, oh god, oh no. Penelope.
Oh shit.
Sorry.
I think I
Hi
lost-
there.
Huh?
We seem to appear in the bathtub.
Yeah. Let's not panic.
Oh, he's already panicked.
The two homunculi down there look to one another, and then they look to the bunch of you, and then they get up and calmly walk out.
And she's just like, wait.
Like he's already slammed into the door.
They say something to you in German.
Oh no, I don't know German. Wait, hold on. I've got my hair ribbon on.
Okay. They say to you, please wait here. We'll let someone know you've arrived.
Okay, thank you.
They step out, fully naked, walking
It's
by
okay.
Aiden.
Nope, he's covering.
Aiden, it's okay.
I can't look.
Johnny, we should probably get out of the tub.
Yeah. Do you have that rock that makes people not messy
do.
anymore?
I do. And she just boops Johnny with it.
Thank you.
We should
This is
come
a
and use
castle.
this bath later. It is a castle. And she boops Aiden with the stone. Welcome to the Einzberns castle. I hope the others actually made it to the grotto, because I don't remember what floor that's on. Oh. Shoot. She's gonna knock on the door to where the homunculi went.
Yeah, they have since gotten dressed. They're remarkably quick at this.
It's gonna be like, oh shoot, they're not gonna be able to understand me. She's gonna gesture and be like, more friends arriving?
They're just staring at her.
Iden is just like,
No, I don't speak German. Shit. No, frickin', I don't. Oh my god.
One of them says back to you, we're calling for someone to come down and get you.
She's just like, she gestures like, make like she's swimming in the water, and she's like, grotto.
The lake or
No, the grotto. And she like makes a small, she like puts her hands in or like her arms in a circle to signify it's like a small lake. And then she's like, with walls around it, and then like pretends to make walls around it.
Are you referring to the grotto?
Yeah.
This is upstairs.
Okay.
I will show you.
Okay.
She comes out and she leads a lot of you up the stairs. So, through the magic of better map design than the first time we were here, this is so much faster.
hey.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Well, you get as far as here. She can't really take you into the library. You got to figure that out on your own.
Wait, she
Because
can't.
that stuff's locked.
Oh.
All right, follow me.
Penelope's just gonna go and knock on the door. Knock, 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 knock.
Don't worry about getting dry. That'll just happen naturally.
Knock, 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 knock.
Annis, you can hear knocking.
I'm coming.
Knock, 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 knock.
Maze.
She eventually makes it there, opens the door.
Hello! We landed in the bathtub!
The horse is currently
everyone else
redder than I
behind me?
am.
Do what?
The horse is redder than I am right now.
He saw homunculus ass.
Everyone else is behind me, right?
Yeah, they're there. Well, I'll let Diana speak for Diana, but Derek
Yeah,
is there.
she's there. I just haven't dragged her over yet.
That's fine. Generally assume that the NPCs are keeping up with you unless I say otherwise, just because that becomes work.
All right, let's go find Kwaku and Echo, I guess.
Yeah. So is the homunculus still there?
Yeah, she's just standing there.
She's gonna be like, Kwaku and Echo?
Oh, where are Kwaku and Echo? In German.
They should be one floor up.
Perfect, thank you.
Bloop.
They assume I am also going upstairs. I am applying Benadryl.
That's
I'm
fair.
covered in bug bites.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm really glad I did not actually put lines on this map, or this would take forever.
Eh.
So yeah, this is the floor that has all the tanks in it. And this
Oh,
is
yeah.
also where Kwaku is right now. Let's dig out his token. It's been forever.
Being that Annis is the one that actually stayed in the castle for a little bit longer, she would probably just know where Kwaku would be hanging out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I have both versions of Kwaku in here.
Hey.
Like his original wizard version, and then the one once I found out what artificers were.
This floor has all the tanks, and this is also... Is this where the, all, like, the plants are that are, like, extinct everywhere else?
Those were down at the grotto. They're
I
in
thought
the
there was a
little
room-
side area.
I thought there was a big room that had a whole bunch of plants in it, too.
Oh, yeah, there are two. Sorry. Yeah, near the grotto is one of them. The other one is, let me just
The magic room, right?
show you.
One floor
one
up.
down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, down at... Is it
Because
that
we did the
one?
tree strike.
that
thing
one.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
that's
fifth
where
floor.
Annis did tree stride. Mhm.
Yeah.
This is so much better than the old open 8 images way to do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you know where the tank room is. It's where all the homunculi come from.
Yep.
And you find Kwaku is currently assembling a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it.
Oh, wow, yeah, you got up here quickly. I would have thought that'd be a bit of a walk. You didn't come up from the lake at all, did you?
We teleported in to the grotto in the bathtub.
Of course you did.
Of course we
still-
did.
I'm still learning.
No, it's an important skill. Just it's fortunate in your timing. You were not attacked by someone, so you timed your intrusion into the bathroom well.
I mean, there were 2 homunculi and they're butt-ass naked.
They are not bothered by that.
Okay.
As you can see, gestures towards all of the tubes of naked people. It is not one of their faux pas. It took some getting used to.
Eh.
They are remarkably forward-thinking for 1,000-year-old copies.
True.
Anyway, look, this thing is coming together okay.
Yeah,
And he
that
shows
actually
you a
looks-
golem that he's working on.
Looks like a thing.
Might be ready in as soon as a week at this point. Really
Oh.
sped up once the
Holy
homunculi
shit.
started helping.
Wow, yeah.
Like, I
That's
thought I was
even
going to have
faster.
to assemble all the pieces, but it turns out this entire place produces golems, and it just needed some direction, and now I'm simply handling assembly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's actually already connected to the castle, so eventually we'll have him up and about, but for now, he's somehow managing things on his own.
Interesting.
Gonna walk up. She's like, "Can I touch him?
That's weird, but I mean, I don't think he cares.
I want to poke him.
I mean,
I have to. I have to.
he
start
can see
bullying him
you
early."
just in case it matters.
She's just gonna walk up to him and be like, "Hello, I'm an inch taller than you."
You hear a strange voice coming through, not his mouth, but like a speaker set up on the wall, and it replies, "I am the size of a castle."
Kwaku.
Yeah, it's weird when he does that. He is,
How
in fact,
long-
the castle, and I'm simply making him a terminal so that he can walk around and stuff.
How long have you been connected back to the castle?
I've been reconnected to the That is a misleading statement. I have always been the castle, but I am more cognizant of my surroundings as of the past week.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it came online while we were off talking to the spider lady.
Ah.
When I got back, I just sort of picked up the work from there.
So what should I call you? Castle?
I am the 9th in my series, so you may call me 9 or 9 or any of those work, honestly.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Anis. I'm one of the people that helped save this castle from the big
You're-
tree.
Your assistance has been appreciated.
And I'm Penelope. I also helped.
You're the one who blew up the tree, are you not?
I threw a grenade at it.
That is a respectable decision. Thank you both for assisting in the restoration of my homunculi as well.
Speaking of which, where is Echo?
She is currently meeting with the werewolf, but she will be back
Ooh.
soon.
And then, I don't know that I've met any of the other. Oh no, where's Amelia?
Amelia is presently manning the phone.
Is that all she does?
She does other things. I will have her move on from that position now. She was manning the phone in the event that something changed with your plans, as we were informed you would be coming. She handles a lot of the day-to-day secretarial work. She will now get back to organizing dinner.
Iden just kind of like looks to Annis, is like, no Goliath, no Kwaku.
What?
Werewolf? Here?
What?
That was
He
a
hasn't
K
have
and
20
O
seconds.
W.
Wait, Aiden. Say it in Sylvan.
There's a werewolf here?
Oh. Nope, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there's a werewolf here.
Yeah, he lives in the forest, I guess.
Whoa.
I guess the Goliaths went home. I mean, couldn't expect them to stay here forever.
They moved on, as was their goal originally. They did assist us greatly in removing the tree and taking care of some of the restoration until additional sisters could be produced.
How many are there now?
Did you say how many?
Yeah.
They currently number 96.
Oh, wow.
Though if you
That's a
mean the
lot.
ones that are up and about, it is only 48.
That's still a lot.
That is a lot. I guess it's a lot to man this castle.
Many of
Oof.
them are currently assigned to the task of seeing to the damage that was done by the tree throughout the region. They are making adjustments to the bounded field statues and also taking stake of the damage that was done to the old village.
That makes sense. So you can see everywhere in the castle?
I can see many places within the castle. My perception is limited as the castle, but once my terminal is complete, I will be able to see all of the castle.
Um,
I did not hear whatever that was if someone said something.
it's like I started saying something and then I forgot what I was saying halfway through what I was saying.
Ah,
Uh, oh, um. Oh, wait, no. Kwaku, I have something to ask you about privately.
oh, in that case, I hope you'll excuse us, Lord Nine. I wish to catch up with my friends, and I promise it will not impact the work that I am doing on your terminal. It is of no consequence. Please take your time. Your friends are here. They are our guests.
Penelope's gonna like just be like, can I boop you on the nose?
Do you wish to be booped on the nose in turn?
I won't say no.
Then the answer is no.
Wait, what?
Did you say I'll say no or I won't say no?
No, I said I won't say no.
Okay, sorry. The won't was cut out, and so you said I'll say no, and it's like, well, that's rude. Okay. If you must.
She boops him on the nose.
Kwaku, please lift my hand to boop her back. Sure. And he lifts up the, like, still in progress child arm and boops Penelope's nose with it.
That was a very weird experience. And I'm not sure I want to do that again.
Is this going to be a private chat with just you two? Because I have some questions for Kwaku too.
I mean, you can be involved in this chat.
Okay.
And then Diana's like, I mean, if you don't mind, I'm going to... Is it alright if I stay here and converse with the castle?
You are welcome to stay as well.
Okay, because I'd love to have a conversation with the castle.
Oh, this is Diana. She's the emissary of Nimue. We sort of picked her up in the last couple days.
Oh, yes, hello. And she holds out her hand to Kwaku.
Oh, it is a pleasure to meet you. He shakes her hand. Yes, if you wish to speak with him, he's not going anywhere, so,
And neither am I. She just, like, plops right down in front of him. She's like, all right, buddy, we're going to have a conversation.
You do that. I'm going to head down with my friends.
It just looks like she's sitting on Kwaku's head.
Yeah, so he's going to take you downstairs to the private rooms. And I'm just going to skip us down. Back to here. And he's
So
going
it's
to
just the two of them, or
whoever wants to come can come.
Yeah, that was...
Just going to drag you
That
guys
wasn't
over to where
today.
the rooms are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aiden will follow. Whee.
Whee. What is Hemlock doing?
Oh, he's gonna find where he was making a nest
Okay.
and see if it's still there.
Fair enough. I will drag him over to that area. And we will find out what Hemlock found later. As much as I like the layer function here, I really wish I could like link tokens to layers rather than have them just be evergreen. But whatever. Cool. Yeah, he takes you to the room that he is currently staying in. You know it's his because there are little spiders here and there. And also there.
no.
And also there. And also there.
I thought I had escaped going and seeing tiny spiders.
We're friends with Kwaku. You're never
I
going to.
know.
15. I start doing a little pat on a spider while they're talking.
You still start doing what?
A little pat, like a little scratch on their head with one little finger.
Okay, but they're just tiny spiders.
They're
Oh, they're
little.
like real tiny. Oh,
Yeah, they're not like tarantula sized or anything. They're very small.
oh, never mind. I take that back.
All right. So once he comes in and he closes the door, you see the little spiders that were hanging out get to work weaving webs over the doors. And he holds a finger up, and then once they're done, you can see that the weaving from the spiders is actually sort of looking like a magic circle on each of the stick. Okay, now we have privacy. I don't trust him when he says he can't see everything. It's just easier not to.
That is very cool. Your spider friends are very talented.
They are hard workers.
Where's Raps?
Oh, he's downstairs right now. He was going to greet you at the lake, but
Oh no.
I'm going to have some of... Tell you what, hold on. He walks over to one of the spiders and he says, Charlotte, could you go get Raps? Yes, thank you. And then the little spider scurries away. He'll be back soon.
Oh my god.
So he's the
So?
whole castle. That's weird.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Apparently that's part of how he survived being destroyed. It turns out
Oh.
that was really just his terminal, which is what he uses to walk around in here and see everything and more directly interact with it. But with the core installed, he can sync up with that body instead. So that's weird.
Well, if it works, I suppose it works. So is he the one in charge, or is it still Echo, or?
It's I think he is technically in charge in the sense that he is the castle.
Right.
Echo listens to him still, but it's a bit more the way that a teenager listens to an adult. He
Oh,
gives
no.
her directions and she does them, but she's still doing her own thing too. I don't think he actually approves of her werewolf friend.
So he's going to be the one to ask about the Grail War. Got it.
Oh, that would definitely be his decision. He's apparently the one who was in charge of the last 5 of them, and he was present when this whole thing started, so...
You know, Ennis is going to look over at Aiden and just kind of like nod at him, like, yep, he'd be the one.
He nods back.
Penelope gets flashbacks to the much older version of him, like literally throwing Ilya to the wolves.
She's just like, Oh dear.
The body's really coming along, though. Great work. I don't know much about golems, but you do great work.
I mean, it's different having a full assembly line to put the pieces together. Usually we have to make them by hand, but they seem to understand that he will need more bodies in time, and so it was really just a matter of adapting what was there to the specifications that we put together. He doesn't seem to mind the smaller body.
That's good.
Yeah.
I suppose the size is maybe irrelevant and inconsequential to him, given he is in fact a castle.
Yeah.
I'm still an inch taller than if Magic already says.
That's fair.
So once you're done with him, are you going to go back to Clock Tower or go back on the road looking for stories?
I'm definitely looking forward to moving on. Don't get me wrong, a castle populated by questionably clothed supermodels is something, but they're creepy as hell. And I just as soon like to get back to work.
Oh, so, Kwaku, on the phone the other day you mentioned something about a homunculus that nobody would tell you anything about?
Yes, she's upstairs and she finally came out of the tank earlier today. And
Oh.
she's something. She's different from the other ones. That part is true. I feel she's probably the golem's idea of what a war mage is like.
Oh.
Oh.
But he spent way more time on her than any of the other ones. No one would answer my questions about her, but just from looking at the readouts on the tank that she was in, I'd wager she's probably got a much higher magic circuit density than any of the rest of them. And when she popped out, I don't really know what the right term for it is. You know how most of the homunculi here are pretty stoic? And how Echo kind of came out of her shell after a while with a little bit of interaction with you? She came out pretty cocky.
Oh.
So, that's a thing.
She's intended to be the master in the Grail War. I'm going to just go ahead and assume.
That's probably a fair assumption. I don't know why else this would have happened. It's possible,
Yeah.
I suppose, that he wants another defender should anything happen again, but I these entire everything exist for their Grail Wars, so I assume that's what it is.
I mean, I'd love to meet her if that's a possibility.
Oh, yes, I'm definitely interested in meeting her.
She's not hard to find. Honestly, she's usually in the ritual chamber. I think she's still. Well, I say usually. She's been out for like 8 hours, but that's where she's been since she got out. um, she hasn't really left that room, as far as I can tell. She doesn't eat,
Hmm.
or if she does, she hasn't figured it out yet. That's actually a strange thing. They seem to come out programmed to do whatever they need to do, but they don't always know what they have to do to keep doing that. So it's not that uncommon when you're walking around to just find a slumped over homunculus that has not been taught that they have to consume water.
Ooh.
That's not good.
They're very specialized. I have a feeling that the plan is probably to produce the ones that are here now for short-term use to get everything in order and then replace them with better programmed long-term investments.
Mm,
It's creepy.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the pile of them downstairs from whenever they were expired, so you know.
We sure did. We saw their ghosts too. They're not just bodies, they all have souls.
That's gonna upset Aiden a lot, actually.
I mean, fair. It's not okay.
No.
Mages.
Where bodies?
You don't want to see it.
They need pass on.
They
You're
actually
gonna be here for you'll be here for so long trying to pass them all on.
they don't want to.
They're here.
They stick
they're
around to
part of-
defend it.
Yeah, they're part of the defense system here.
They want to stay then?
As far as I can tell. I mean, we were originally led here by one of them.
Oh.
Okay, that if they want to stay, he would relax a little bit, but like that's still like the bodies just piled down there is disturbing to him.
Oh yeah, it's a giant stack.
Yeah.
You didn't see it.
It's
Oh.
quite horrifying.
I can't say I agree with their methods, but
Mm,
I guess it is what it is.
yeah.
Who wants trauma?
No.
I've still got the pictures.
So I
That's
think
okay.
it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, to convince him to give up the entry to the Grail Wall.
Need to.
Oh no! Here comes the mound of bodies.
Oh no! Oh, those faces.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty fate of you. Gross. Anyway,
Fucking nightmare fuel.
It's worth trying, but it's not likely that it will happen.
they are very stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Not many options.
And unless we specifically tell them, I don't think they know that at least I am a master in this Grail Wall. So if we don't tell them, and we're, really subtle about it, we might be able to get them to tell us things about what the plan is for the Grail Wall. We just have to be careful with the information we give them.
Yeah.
Aiden's gonna pop a tongues and just be like, all they need to know is that I need that entry. Now that we know Luvia is going to enter, and honestly, I see her as being much more stubborn, I kind of have to get my ticket here.
Or
Name is
you'll have to go talk to Lucretia. There is one other wildcard entry.
I can at least try here first.
I'll give you a fair warning. Based on what they told me before, they only went with an outsider one time, and it ended very badly.
Oh,
Oh,
must be the
yeah,
guy that we stole, appropriated his gun and grenades, and I think
I
I
was gonna
might still
say,
have his
like,
passport.
in Iden and that other guy's defense, those grenades ended up helping or like saving them in the end,
It's
so
true.
he may not have been able to help them at the time, but maybe, just maybe, those grenades were left here on purpose to save their butts.
Exactly. And I mean, it can't hurt. It can't hurt to try, at least.
At least.
I don't know why he left his passport here, but it's okay. I've got
Uh,
it now.
Oh,
I
you
think
have
he
it.
was planning to come back, and they didn't let him.
Oh,
Well, if I ever find him, I'll give him his passport. I'm not gonna tell him what happened to the grenades. But he'll need the passport.
well, at the very least, we're going to have dinner, and we're getting to catch up with. I don't want to say old friends. It's not like we've known each other for that long. It only feels like years.
New friends.
Admittedly, one of your friends was old when you met her, and she looks a lot newer now.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm gonna go
So-
talk to the castle then.
Cuts back over to Diana murders him and runs away. Oh no.
That was her plan all along.
All right, so you're gonna go up to the terminal room again.
Yeah, I'm also gonna fucking cast enhance abilities so I can get some positivity in my talking.
Oh, you're gonna hit yourself with charisma.
Oh, you fucking bet. Look, I don't want a repeat of the chaos that was the druid meeting.
I mean, it's a thing.
It's fucking all those.
Item rolls
Wait,
boil
I didn't
down
come
to
back.
Oh,
is it
okay,
important to
yeah.
him or not?
She's gonna smack him with some bardic inspiration.
Thank you.
Literally gonna smack him on the butt.
Oh, ooh. Thank you.
Do you
I
want
think.
do you want a little bit of charisma, or are you fine with whatever that was?
Oh, I boosted myself with a little charisma, a little.
All right.
Little
Well,
something.
good luck, big guy.
Yeah, good luck.
Pray for the best. Oh, that one didn't have anything in it.
All right, so you're going over there. We
It's just like, oh no.
awkwardly standing in the hallway.
Oh no, I'm not leaving.
Oh, you guys are staying down there? Okay, cool. Never mind.
I thought it was
Yeah,
beside
Huh?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just him. Yeah.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Penelope was gonna go head over to wherever what was it, the ritual room or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't remember what he
I will
said.
drag you to where you will be on the maps, and then we will cycle through them per scene. So
Cool.
Penelope's gonna go over there. Tawny goes where Penelope goes. I will let Annis determine where she and Derek go.
Unless Kwaku's leaving, Annis is gonna stay put.
Kwaku gives Penelope directions to the really easy to find giant room, and he's gonna hang out in here until his spiders come back. So you got that downtime.
Cool.
All right, let's see. Who wants to go first?
I'm actually. I'm gonna run to the bathroom really quick if someone else wants to go first.
Fair.
Yeah, Annis is going to pull the extremely heavy lead rod out of her bag of holding,
Okay.
open it up, and pull out the staff. Okay. I found this in that secret lab underneath. There's a secret lab underneath the secret lab in Sherwood. It's a whole thing.
A decoy lab, I understand.
Old and probably very powerful, and I wanted to see if you could identify it, tell me anything about it. I didn't want either of the other two knowing anything about it until I know what it is.
I see. Okay, sure, 1 second.
I know it's a staff of Asclepius, but I don't know if it's the staff of Asclepius.
Yeah, so he pulls out a tiny little pearl, and he whispers a little bit and does some hand motions while holding the staff, and then he says, okay, so this is appropriately themed. It's a staff of healing. It is not like the actual staff of, the Greek healer, but it is nonetheless, built and modeled behind his. Not cursed. That's always nice. Always good to find out after
Very
you
well
pick these things up. But yes, it has. It is. Feel free to wield it if you would like to heal in the future. It is an item modeled after Asclepius, so technically it has some resonance to him, but it is not his.
So it could be used as a catalyst, potentially.
You could try. I mean, I say that you could use anything as a catalyst. There's no telling what you'll get, but it is closer aligned to him than anything else.
I don't know if he's the one I'd need to be asking for help.
His myths are interesting. He cured death. Like,
He did.
the big way. And he kept doing that until eventually the underworld got pissed, and then Zeus decided to kill him. I don't really know what he would do in a Holy Grail war. I would assume to cure death, you have to rip someone back out of the root and shove them back into their body, and I have no idea what that would do.
I don't really have a need to cure death. That kind of death. Do you know anything about... Oh boy. So a friend of mine got bit by a dead apostle and halfway turned into one, but he's not quite all the way there. And I'm trying to fix him because he just drains mana naturally, and that's not good. That means he can't go places with ley lines or anything like that. It's this whole thing. I'm hoping to not have to actually fight all the way to the end and get the Grail and have that be my wish. I would like to use it for something a little more noble, like fixing the world, maybe. But that's my goal for the Grail War, is trying to find a way to fix what's going on with him.
So are you trying to turn him back into what he was before, or are you trying to give him a way to live with what he is now?
Well, I would want to turn him back into a half-elf, if I could. Like, maybe with some sort of permanent polymorph, or some sort of restorative thing, turning back the clock on him, like I was able to do sort of with Echo with that potion. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways I could approach it, but I don't know where to start.
Right.
Or if it's possible.
I mean, based on my understanding of how, magecraft is limited, turning back time is a feat of true magic, and that's beyond magecraft. restoring him. This is kind of weird, but technically, I've heard stories that there are some mages who are referred to as puppet masters who have created new bodies and moved souls from one to another. And I don't know about the moving souls part. That sounds suspiciously like magic as well. But you're kind of in the castle of the people who probably know more about that than anyone else. So
That is true.
it might be possible to create him a body that doesn't have these problems and move him into it. Again, that sounds like magic, but
Yeah.
there's a precedent for it, at least, somewhere. I mean, I believe that's the backbone of what all these homunculi are trying to do.
I don't know how you would feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. Sounds
Yeah,
like they
it's
could go horribly wrong very easily.
quite possibly. I mean, I know there are very old mages who are well beyond a normal lifespan, and they got there somehow, but I don't know how.
Right.
I know that there are some mages that have lived long lives by literally jumping from body to body, so there has to be some way to do it.
Ugh, I don't like that either. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I know
creepy
she's
shit.
doing.
It's creepy. It's some creepy lich bullshit. But
Don't like that.
I mean, alternatively, if your friend is for the most part happy with how he is, minus that problem of him apparently absorbing mana from the world around him, what if he just keeps moving? I mean, the halflings do that. He just doesn't settle somewhere for too long. It's a life.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out possibilities. So, I don't know if this staff will necessarily be useful for as a catalyst. Aiden would probably like to summon the literal god of medicine, considering who he is. Maybe I'll bring it up to him.
I think he's going to have a hard time convincing the robot upstairs to not do the one thing he's programmed to do.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be difficult.
So, from the way that people were talking before, it sounds like the Edelfelts are in, and
Oh,
obviously the
yeah.
Einzberns are in.
Do
So,
did you hear anything about our boat adventure?
uh, not too much. I got a little bit of it, but not a lot.
Well, we ended up talking to some really powerful and dangerous people. Our harvester friends were there, the two from the train, along with their boss, the actual
Oh,
butcher himself,
well,
who Aiden made a deal with. So he has an entry into the grill wall, the butcher, but in exchange, he can't do shit for the next 5 months. He can't kill anyone, hurt anyone, stalk anyone, or anything like that until he faces Aiden in the grill war.
so that's why Aiden needs to get a
Yeah,
servant,
that's
or
why
he's
Aiden
just going to
needs
be
an entry.
slaughtered.
Yeah, that's why Aiden needs an entry for sure. But it does mean that phantasmals will be able to move a little bit more freely around without being. I mean, obviously, the harvesters are probably a pretty big organization, and
Yeah,
you
they're all
can't
over, and
exactly control all of them, but the ones that listen to him are doing jack shit for the next 5 months, and he can't do anything.
okay, that's good. I imagine if he's going to be fighting in a Holy Grail war, he's probably trying to get a catalyst right now.
Probably. I'm trying really, really hard not to think about what kind of insanely powerful servant he's going to end up with. We have to fight him. We have to somehow either kill him or contain him, and he's basically immortal. And we have to fight him first.
So, looking over this place in my downtime, you remember how I found like these guns and stuff?
Right.
I found some notes from the person at the Einzberns hired this out to about 11 years ago. And
his name was Emiya, I think.
yes, his deal was essentially to pretend that someone else was the master and then of his servant, and then while the masters were engaged in directing their servants, he personally would sneak up on the other masters and kill them.
Oh,
So
he was one of those.
yeah, which I guess explains the grenades and all of the guns and stuff.
That is a smart way to do it. I'm personally hoping I don't have to kill anyone, and Aiden is going to refuse to do it, but if I have to, I mean, she's not, oh God, I hope she's not in the Grail War, but that spider lady, Shalara, I've got a sword with her name on it, and she just pulls out the sword too.
Oh shit.
Aiden won't be killing her. I'm going to get the final blow. I'm going to kill her. She's done horrible things.
You want me to take a look at that sword?
Oh, I mean, if you're already looking at the staff,
I'm still
hand
doing
it
it.
over.
Yeah, he identifies it for you. Is the item in your inventory identified? I can go ahead and do that. Like, the spell lasts for a while, so we can just knock them out together. I don't remember if you have the
I don't know
identified
if
version or
you
not.
added it. No, wait, you did. I just don't know where it is.
Let's see. Where are you?
Oh, longsword, flame tongue.
Yep, then it is identified, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what it does. It's a big old sword.
And would I know if this belonged to Soren originally, or if this was something that was in that lab?
You never saw Soren with a sword like that.
Okay.
There's a pretty good chance, thinking back on it, that he probably found it among the stuff that was tossed around in there. And in that sense, I like it when NPCs can also find things.
Yeah. So the long and short of it is, yesterday morning, no, it's all kind of blending together. It's been a rough few days. One of the elven rangers from Sherwood went into that secret sublab and ended up becoming a centaur against his will, a nightmare centaur.
That is dreadful.
And we had to fight him, and we had to kill him, and we had to bury him. That's the... Trying not to think about that. It messed up Aiden a lot more than me, but...
I bet.
But yeah, he was using this sword. I don't know where it came from, but I'm going to stab that bitch through the eyes with it.
Fair. From my limited interaction with her, she needs to be put down.
Unfortunately, she escaped to Dream's End, so we'll have to face it in the Grail War anyway. Probably.
That's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Is she a master, or did she just go there?
God, I hope she's not a master. No, that's where she came from originally, and she was driven back by the Nightmare Centaur that she created when he went berserk.
No, a little bit of karma to mix in, I guess. Yeah, if she's... From my interaction with her, she did not seem focused enough to actually go through a summoning ritual. She was only focused on what she viewed as her mission. And I suspect that the only reason that she could even show us the way to that portal was because the thing that was stopping her from her research was our own dead apostle friend. So she seemed to be able to rationalize that at least. But
Yeah, so
regardless, I don't think she actually has the focus to even get a catalyst.
probably not, but that just means, just like fucking Einosh, she's gonna be a complication in the Grail War.
Listen, based on what I understand of that place, there is going to be no shortage of dangers separate from this whole thing you're doing. That is where things that can't still exist here go. You may literally fight dragons there.
Not gonna lie, that sounds pretty cool.
I mean, sure, if you don't mind being on fire.
Terrifying, but cool. I don't know. But I've got a lot of research to do. I've got to find a catalyst. Got to get a plan.
Is there anyone you're looking to summon? I might know some places that have some things that are old.
I need someone. Like I said, my goal. I didn't really have a wish before, so when I found out about the Dampia problem, that kind of became my goal. I just need to summon someone that can help him in some way. I've got a lot of research to do, but I luckily live right by Clock Tower, and there's plenty of books there, so I guess I'll start there.
It's true. I happen to know that the law department has quite the library.
Oh, we know all about the Library of Law. Penelope knows a little more than I do.
There's a lot of nice resources there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The little robots flying around are kind of creepy, though.
Oh, robots.
Yeah, they have these little librarian robots that float around.
So, what is your opinion of Piers Zoroheim, if you have one?
Ooh, let's roll and see if he has one.
Roll a 1. That's a little bit. No.
You beat me to it. I hate him.
Well, for starters, I'm not a big fan of the fact that he found a lot of interesting and historically significant items and then turned them to dust so that he could cast spells a little better.
Yeah, that
rude.
seems to be the consensus.
I'm also, from my limited interactions with him, he seems to be very excited in the way that someone almost lacking empathy can manage. Like, he gets excited at ideas, but when it comes to things affected by his ideas, it doesn't seem to slow him down much.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I made a point of making sure he did not know that I was not human.
Yeah. Yeah, we met him on the boat. Oh boy, he's almost certainly going to be one of the enemy masters.
That would probably make him very happy. If he were given a chance to summon someone who both has first-hand information from history, but also give him access to a whole world of things to absorb and learn from. Pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's weird though, like, interacting with him, he just seems like a big nerd. He doesn't seem that dangerous, but I understand why. We were warned specifically to stay away from him. So naturally, Penelope and myself and Aiden in his centaur farm, all three of us talked to him because of course we did.
Of course you did. Yeah, in my opinion, the man, he gets excited, and that can be in some ways exhilarating to speak with him. Like, he's legitimately passionate about his research and his work. He just does not have the safeguards that usually prevent people from doing some things in pursuit of that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's kind of childlike, honestly, in the way that children don't quite understand the consequences of their actions, and they just want to see what happens when they do something.
Well, gonna have to have a chat with him anyway. I'm making it a personal mission to warn every single person I think might be going into Dream's End about Einosh. Don't, to just ignore the trees if they talk to you. So I'm gonna have to talk to him anyway. Yeah, he absorbed an elemental entirely, the mana from it, and then put it in Aiden.
Oh,
Yeah, Aiden was not happy about that.
I can't imagine he was. Did
It's been rough.
Did it hurt him?
It didn't hurt him. He wasn't able to draw mana from ley lines, being that he was on a boat, so he was looking pretty rough, and I guess Piers thought he was doing something good by sharing mana with him. Just, for some reason he put an entire elemental in Aiden.
That's troubling.
In kind of a twisted way, it did help, though. He did have the mana.
That is something that I could see Clock Tower finding interesting. His presence and his success makes sense then.
Yeah, like, we were on that boat. We tried to keep him in his human disguise, but he did not make it the whole night as a human. So, yeah, now the harvesters know there's a centaur. The church knows there's a centaur. Mages know there's a centaur.
So what's he doing about that? Is that why I'm supposed to be making him something to keep him hidden?
If you can, we're still trying to figure that out. Obviously, he was able to negotiate with the butcher, so the immediate threat of him getting literally disemboweled is off the table, but
From him?
Yeah. For him, yeah.
Yeah. I would wager that if the mages are aware of his existence, then there's probably a meeting going on right now to determine who gets to bring him in.
Probably.
Speaking as someone who was going to be ambushed on a train, things like that happen.
It's true.
It's
On the bright side, I'm 1000% sure that the butcher has threatened all of his lackeys to not kill Aiden because he wants to do it, and if they do it first, he will kill them. So, right sides to everything.
that would possibly help. I assume that they are willing to listen to someone under threat of death.
He is so scary.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I went straight past being scared and got really just completely flippant with him, and I was legitimately worried until I had made that deal that we were not going to make it more than 2 steps off the boat without getting killed.
It's a dangerous game. So, are you all going to lie low for a bit, or like? I'd say you could probably be safe here, but if they find out that you might be competition, their priorities might change.
I don't know. I know that at least one of the harvesters has the address to my potion shop, and Piers knows where my potion shop is. But I'm probably going to end up back there anyway. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing at this moment. We're trying to get Aiden his Grail War entry, and of course we wanted to come check up on the castle and everything.
I mean, there's no shortage of places to stay here if you want to, at least for a little while you sort some of that out. I'm going to be here for at least another week till I get that little kid up and about, and then I'm probably going to go. I like seeing more than just the same walls. I mean, the castle's beautiful, and they have been nothing but kind to me, but as they shift their focus towards the Grail War, I suspect that I will not want to be around.
They've really done wonders with the place, though. It was very, very bad shape, and now it looks great. Yeah.
They've done a lot. They've also done some things with the area around here. Like they actually, they, as I, as you heard upstairs, they've been fixing the damage that was done to their defense statues throughout. So they're a bit more resilient now. I'm kind of surprised that the lot of you actually managed to step through and not to a place that was designated. I'm sure that now that you've done that, they'll probably try to refine their security further.
I suppose I should have communicated the plan was to go through the lake, but the emissaries of Ladies of the Lake, I thought they were going to use the lake.
That makes sense. From what I can tell, there's an understanding between this place and the lake. So I don't think they were going to hurt you for coming with emissaries so much as simply concern over the homunculi do not all necessarily make good decisions on their own. That is not their function. So if someone who is under the order to attack invaders were to find you, then a giant axe might have come at your head.
Not ideal.
Would not recommend it.
Well, you are, of course, welcome at my potion shop. I guess
would be
I
happy
should
to drop by.
She'll hand over one of the cards.
Yeah.
It's probably where I'm going once we're done with our tour of Europe with the horse.
He's probably not making that easier for you, is he?
I don't know what his plans are. I know my plans are to find... I have a way of getting a catalyst. I just need to figure out which catalyst it is. But I've got a favor from Lupin.
Ah, yes, that would probably get you something good. So long as someone knows where it is.
Yeah, it's not a matter of how will I get the catalyst, it's a matter of figuring out which catalyst to go for. If I can't find any promising leads on, I don't know, anyone from mythology that can shapeshift other people or cure vampirism or whatever, then I'll probably just go for someone that's powerful. I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. Just remember that they have their own goals too.
Right.
Like, you might think, oh, I know. I'll summon Circe and she'll be able to transform things freely, but she might also turn you into a pig.
Yeah, I would run that risk.
Admittedly, I think if she turned you into a pig, you could turn into something else, so maybe she wouldn't know what to do with that. You could still do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Well, and she'll just launch into an explanation about how druids wild shape.
Yeah, take that, secrets.
That's all very vague, though. It's like
Yeah.
communing with nature and finding your inner beast and blah-de-blah-de-blah.
Animorphs.
No. Absolutely not.
Picture of Kwaku turning into a spider.
Ah!
Yes.
Picture of a spider turning into Kwaku.
God.
He cannot turn into spiders. That is not a power
That's
that
probably
he has.
for the best.
Yeah. Okay, well, while you're doing that, who wants to go next among the other groups?
I mean, does Ida want to go ahead and go?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
Boop, up here. All right, so I assume that Diana did not, in fact, kill the child, and that Ida can
No, not
walk
today.
in, and we can fill in the details accordingly later.
Yeah. And Iden walks in on, and so that is how I ended up here talking to you. It's been a journey.
It sounds like it.
Oh, yeah, I just... Goodness gracious, I don't think I've ever thought I'd be here in the Einzberns castle. And oh, hi there, sunshine.
Hi, Diana.
I've been talking to the castle this whole time. He's really lovely. You need to get to know him.
Oh, yes. I would definitely like to talk to the castle as well. That is your official title and name, or should I address you by something other?
Oh wow, there it goes. It's loading for a sec. Have a picture. It's like this, but in many pieces.
Oh boy.
I mean, I've just been calling him Niners, but I don't know that he likes that much.
It is not the best, but I will consolidate my name once I am up and about. You may refer to me as Nine or Noin or uh, Castle Einzbern.
Noin sounds okay. So I needed to talk to you. I hear you are the one in charge of the Holy Grail entry for this family.
Yes, I am the leader of the Einzbern family, and by extension, our seat in the Holy Grail War, Heaven's Field Ritual.
So Echo's brought up before. She's mentioned potentially asking if I could enter. And one thing I did want to bring up to you is I understand you all have a wish, but I would like to bring up the concern of there's not going to be a world for any sort of wish if it doesn't get fixed. And if I may, if I could work on the behalf of you all, just for this one Grail War to make sure there is a world. I heard that it happens every 5-10 years.
It should be
And
every
it's
60 years.
60.
oh, every 60. Sorry.
The last few are aberrations.
Okay. Um, well, point is, there might not be a world much longer, and I would just like to ensure that it is there. And if you live, since the beginning until the end, you could have your homunculuses prepare for the next one, but I'd like to ensure that there is a world for you to do your wish in the future. Preferably, I'd just like to make sure the world is here.
If we are victorious in this Holy Grail War, as we intend to be, then it will become a moot point.
So, I hate to bring it up, but have you been victorious before?
We have come close many times.
Okay, and then you've just kind of gotten your body back, and your homunculuses are kind of learning how to function again. I've heard you've taken major losses. Do you not think it'd be smarter to prepare and actually have time if you've gotten close before at your fullest capacity versus now when you're just recouping?
We have been planning for every eventuality for some time, and we have learned every time that we have come up short. We have learned that relying on outsiders leads to betrayal. That was our mistake in the Fourth Holy Grail War. We relied on an outsider who should have won and wished on our behalf, and he did not. He chose to destroy the Grail, and that led to ruination.
Okay, sidetrack for a second because I'm gonna get back to taking. Somebody can destroy the Grail. That's a thing.
It was the cause of great destruction.
That's horrible. I don't think anybody. I don't know if they know that. That's something that needs to not happen again. Thank you for telling me that. I want to make sure that I come back to the section of you may see me as an outsider, but I am being honest with you. I do not lie. I am going to tell you straight front. My wish is to make sure that there is a world. That is what it would be. Make sure everything is fine. The mana stabilizes. That is it. I don't want anything else. Just, if it's a small wish that can do that, sure. If it's a larger wish that can do that, I just want to make sure that nothing bad happens and that we are actually here. That includes you. But I am concerned that if you haven't won yet, and you are in this state, it's not gonna go as you plan.
I see no reason to think you would be more successful than we are, on account of the fact that you did not even know that the Holy Grail could be destroyed.
Well, you have lived longer, but has that, again, I am younger, you are older, but just because you are older and know that it could be destroyed doesn't mean the destruction of it in itself is going to win you the Grail War. That's something that you don't want. It's the whole master-servant thing. That's the part where you're failing at.
I
So,
fail to see
again,
how you would do better than anyone.
plan to win it, so that is my stance on that. Again, would like to do this, and this would be beneficial for you because, again, if you're
You
around forever,
misunderstand us. We do not need the world.
if the world dies, there's no castle, then there's no you, and then there's no anything.
We could outlive the world if necessary.
So you're the castle. If the castle is destroyed, are you not destroyed?
I am not.
And nothing else here is destroyed when the world is gone.
You
Your
do not know
ability
the
to-
nature of the blight of the world, do you?
I know that mana is rapidly failing and drawing out, and everything is dying.
Everything that subsists on mana is dying.
The world itself subsists on mana. The world is made of mana. That's where we are having a blockage here.
You are operating on the assumption that the world needs you in your physical form. The world can change. It can be better. And that is our mission.
But you're sitting before me in a physical form that was just made for you. So why am I wrong then?
Why would that make you right?
My point being is that you needed this form to move about, to do
This
things.
form is convenient for me. It is not necessary. And furthermore, I have created many forms that can participate in the Grail War on my behalf.
But they're still physical, are they not?
They are physical for the purposes of this Holy Grail War. When we are successful, they will not need to be physical any longer.
So either way that you look at this, it's either you get close again and you fail again, or you look at me and you don't know me and you automatically assume that I won't.
I can look at you and I can tell that you would not subsist outside of a ley line for very long.
Well, I've already had plans for that. So that's not an issue. I'm not one that doesn't go in without a plan.
And your plan was to approach me and have my entire reason for existence deferred to you, someone I have never met.
My plan was to say, hey, there can be a world and you can continue on with what you're trying to do and perfect it. Because again, from what I have seen, you were just recouping. And if you wanted to for surely win, why would you not take your time? While I just
You
make
are
sure.
operating on the assumption that if this or is, as it was explained to me, a matter of someone winning and making any wish, and the world will survive, then it does not need to be you. And if we fail, then someone will make a wish, and the world will be here when we try again. You are not bringing anything unique to this table.
Then let me express what I have learned. Because from what I understand, the reason the mana is draining is because someone did make a wish, and it went horribly wrong. So anybody else that has a wish could be too big, or be impossible, and make the drain go even faster. So we all die faster. That is why I am showing you and telling you that I would just like a fix to it. And you could do whatever after. I was trying to present an opportunity for you.
You do not present a good opportunity. If I wish to outsource again and take that risk on again, I have no reason to go with you. I do not know you. I do not know your history. I do not know your capabilities. I do not know your allegiance. And quite honestly, I do not trust anyone that I have not taken part in the creation of, because I have been betrayed by someone who, by all accounts, would honor the deal of his contract and did not.
All right. Well, let me do an introduction, and you can still say no. But I'll tell you who I am. I am Iden, healer of Eldath. That is who I am with. I am a healer. That is my job. So, my job is to protect the groves and everything in it, whether animals, people, phantasmals, just nature. That is who I am aligned with.
Would you kill for this?
I am going to make sure that I win, but I am not going to kill.
Then you are not ready for this.
There are ways to win without killing.
There are not.
Enlighten me. All you have to do...
The quickest and easiest way to win this conflict is to kill the enemy masters. They are weaker than the servants. They are more fragile. They are the weak point of every pair. That is why we make strong masters here.
You can win without killing people. That is where you fail.
You have a lot of assumptions about what it takes to win something that no one knows the outcome of the only time it has been won, save the destruction, and the lack of other masters standing when it was done. There are no survivors of the Fifth Holy Grail War. That was not done from someone winning by keeping people alive.
The fifth one is where Fuyuki is, like, gone, right?
Parts of it.
Parts of it, yeah. It's like, from my understanding, that's just a whole area gone, and everybody in it was affected.
You do not want this enough to compromise, and you will not win it. And I will not waste our opportunity on you and your stubborn, childish ideals.
That is where you are wrong, because when you have ideals that you stick to, they make you stronger.
Or they make you die. Not every rebellion has won.
Well then, unfortunately then, we're coming to a disagreement. But I see that you'll learn that a drive can get you far with a moral standpoint, because I will not allow you to win. And he walks away.
That is your prerogative.
Because he ain't about that killing master's life. Like, that actually, yeah, he don't like 9.
That's fair.
he's gonna go. Do. He's gonna go looking for Echo. Eventually.
All
He's
right.
looking for the werewolf. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now we can catch up with Penelope.
Yeah.
Hooray. Swap floors again.
Yeah, Diana's still just chatting with the castle. She's like, all
Yeah.
right.
She's like, so that
And
happened.
that was the thing. That was the thing I just witnessed fully without interruption and absorbed a bunch of information from. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, Penelope was given directions to the ritual room, which has all the pretty trees and some other stuff, and all those little statues of the different classes for the Holy Grail War. Neat. And it's got some lady in it.
Yeah, some lady. Oh no,
It's
she's
got-
cute.
Got this lady in it.
Shit. Well.
Yep, you gotta watch out for that. It's almost like they were built to be Picrew or something.
Oh no. I didn't just screenshot that. What are you talking about?
What? Yeah. So yeah, you walk in the main chamber with Johnny, and you see this woman who, while she's like so many of the Justice model homunculi, has the same general physical form. Unlike the rest of them who move with a certain rigid stiffness, you come in here and she is in fact moving about the room in something that feels more akin to like a dance, more of a ballet style. Like she's moving, she's not paying attention to you even when you're in. She seems to just be moving almost freely and almost floating between each of these things, going around it like a pole on the statues, twiddling around here and there. She goes over, she dances along the edge of the fountain and continues back, just ignoring you.
Penelope's gonna imitate her. See if she
Okay.
gets any reaction out of that.
Okay, give me a performance check.
Oh no. Performance, where'd you go? There you are.
Oh yeah, you mirror her pretty perfectly as you move forward. Once she sees that she does seem to notice you, and as that's going on, she makes her way down to this side, and the two of you are mirroring each other going back and forth. And Johnny's just sort of watching all this happen, like, well, that's a thing. And then eventually you end up at the spot in the middle. And then she stops and she looks over to you. And then she says, "Hello, Penelope.
How did you know my name?
You are quite famous, and I was also told much about you.
By who?
My sister Acoviel speaks fondly of you.
Well, at least she doesn't say anything bad about me.
On the contrary, she says that you are quite talented both in music and in combat."
Well, since you know my name, I need to know your name.
Of course. Where'd your picture go? Come back. I need to unhide it. Too many things open. It's the curse of this castle all over again. Of course. My name is Ambrosville von Einzbern.
Can I call you Umbra?
If you wish. I understand that our names get very similar, so any distinction is welcome. What brings you to my castle?
Well, we came to visit Kwaku. I need to pick up a thing that I left here. I wanted to see Echo. You know,
She should be along shortly.
just catching up, and I heard about you, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I want to meet her while I'm here. Because you weren't here the last time I was here.
It is true, I am a new addition to the family. Well, you are
Yeah,
certainly
so-
welcome here. Your assistance in the destruction of the Great Tree, and by extension, the survival of my family, is perpetually appreciated.
Yeah, it's no problem. Um, so, I, mm, how long have you been out?
I have been
Like,
active
out and about?
for 8 hours, 30 minutes, and 41 seconds.
Oh, well, how's life treating you so far?
Somewhat drier than the tank where I've spent the past week gestating.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I can't imagine floating in a tank for a week.
It was a good time to learn.
What'd you learn about?
I learned about the history of my family and our job. I learned magecraft. I
Oh,
learned hand-to-hand combat.
uh-huh.
I learned music.
Oh, what kind of music?
A variety of it. I think it was determined that musical rhythm would be a good opportunity for me to learn things that would help me in the context of magecraft.
I mean, you seem like a pretty good dancer.
This is rote repetition of videos that I have seen in my preparation, but it was admittedly exhilarating to do them myself. Dancing is an interesting hobby. It is a control of motion and working with gravity rather than against it to achieve exhilaration.
Yeah. What you just said. Um, if you want, I can teach you another dance.
I would be happy to learn another dance.
Okay. All right, hold on. And she's just like, all right, Johnny, come here. I need your help.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Umbra, this is Johnny. Johnny, Umbra.
Hello, Johnny, as mentioned. Hello, Johnny, as mentioned. Yeah, that's not my name exactly. Like, I know, I was trying to make a joke. Okay, cool.
Okay, so, Johnny, do you know how to waltz?
Of course. Do you want to lead or should I?
I can lead.
Okay.
Okay. And so she's gonna be like, all right, Umbra, this is the waltz. And they're gonna do the waltz.
All right. We will not drag the tokens around, but it is understood that you
Yeah.
were waltzing.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a dance that I saw, but it is certainly much more interesting to see in person. Let me attempt over here. And she holds her hands up as if she had a partner and goes through the motion. But as she does so, she slips slightly and stubs her toe on one of the statues. And she goes, step, 2, 3. Ow, motherfucker. Step, 2. Sorry, you didn't hear that. That didn't happen.
You're good. No, you know what? It's totally fine.
I'm doing my best to be presentable to a guest.
No, you're fine. You can totally You don't need to put up any sort of front around us.
I was told that this was proper behavior for guests.
Don't think of us as guests. Think of us as friends.
I was not given direction on how to properly interact with friends.
Well, you can, when you're around friends, you basically just, you act like yourself.
I've yet to determine what that is yet.
Okay. Well, we can figure that out. In the meantime, do you want to waltz with me?
I will attempt.
Okay. And she's gonna try and teach Umbra how to waltz.
Okay, that should be pretty doable. She seems to pick up and mimic things that she's seen very well. And she's mimicking what Johnny did, so the height difference is less of an issue. Thank you, that was a new experience.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how useful it will be in the future, but it was nice in the meantime.
I mean, dancing is always useful. You just don't know when you're gonna need it.
Not certain how much dancing awaits me, but I will keep that in mind.
I say anytime I'm around, we can dance as much as you want.
I will keep that in consideration for the future. Do you intend to be at or participating in the upcoming Holy Grail War? Because that is where I will be at.
Oh, that's... Are you going? Are you participating?
That is my function.
Oh. Oh. So you're supposed to be one of the masters?
I will be representing the Einzberns in the Sixth Heavens Field.
Oh. Well, do you have a wish?
My family will always have a wish.
But
We will
do
save the
you
world.
have a wish?
My wish is my family's wish. We will save the world.
Well, see, you're about to go and do this Grail War, right? I think you should have a wish of your own.
My wish is to free all of humans and phantasmals from the confines of their bodies and the suffering that it brings them. We will all live immortal and perfect.
See, that... I don't think that's such a good idea. I talked to Echo about it at one point.
Yes, she has different views from the rest of our family on this issue. I suspect that your influence is at play there.
I don't know, what has she been saying?
She thinks that this is perhaps a short-sighted wish, but she has been overruled by our father, so it is a moot point.
Oh, you're talking about the castle.
Yes, the castle's terminal, the one who created all of us, has continued on with his mission.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do agree with Echo in that the way your family's wish is shaping up is very... it is a very short-sighted goal. I don't know that the way it is now is necessarily going to be what fixes the problem. Did they tell you about the mana drain?
I am aware that if we are unsuccessful and no one is successful, that this may be our last opportunity. But that is all the more reason that I have to stay focused and be successful.
See, I don't think we'll have any more chances even if that did succeed.
In the event that we enact the third magic, we will be free of the need for mana.
Yeah, but still doesn't quite seem like a good idea to me.
It is understandable. You would miss many of the things that make you yourself right now. But what you would be gaining would be an eternal life with none of the suffering for you and your kind. You would no longer have to live in fear of the people that would hurt you.
I mean, you're not wrong there. However, that just kind of sounds like a boring existence to me. Oh.
Does your existence require conflict?
Not necessarily, but just kind of an eternity of floating around doesn't seem like a great time to me.
It would be an eternity of interacting with one another and learning everything there is to learn.
But you can't really do anything with that knowledge.
Knowledge for the sake of knowledge is a commendable objective in and of itself.
I mean,
After
yeah,
all,
but that's
we
not.
just learned a new dance. You could learn all of the dance.
Yeah,
You
but
could
if
meet
you
with
learn
the
it all.
greatest dancers and learn from them.
Yeah, but then nobody would actually be dancing at that point.
I do not know the nature of what our bodies will be in that state, as we will no longer have them, but I like to think that light can dance.
I mean,
Perhaps we should
yeah,
ask someone who has experienced this before.
what?
There are many creatures that have experienced Heaven's Feel. Perhaps they have some insight into this.
Like who? Or what?
One of the original researchers who founded us successfully cast the spell.
Oh,
My understanding is that she is around and about. Perhaps you should ask her.
who is it?
Who is the researcher?
Yeah,
I believe you know her as Lucretia.
what? Wait, are you kidding me?
I would not kid about such a thing.
That can't be true.
I have not seen her myself since awakening, but it is her body, is it not?
Uh, I I don't know.
Perhaps you should ask her about it sometime.
Oh, okay. Um, how did she really make that happen?
My understanding is that when the original ritual was completed by the homunculus Justice, it took her 1 year to successfully release the soul of another. And the researcher who created her, her body still walks amongst us.
Wait,
Or at least her visage does.
what do you mean?
Well, we have seen her. She visited us recently.
I'm very confused right now.
It sounds like it would be a worthwhile conversation for you. It is less relevant for us. We have a simple mission. We will enter the Holy Grail War, and we shall win. And we will complete our family's objective.
Um, So,
And when we do, and we are all light, I would be happy to dance with you again.
well, let's let's put that conversation aside for a while. um, uh, I, well, we'll talk later, okay?
Of course.
Are you gonna just keep staying in here, or?
For now. In due time, I will venture out and learn more about the world, but after being in a tube for most of my life, I decided to stretch my legs a bit.
Okay, weird question. When you were watching different videos, did you watch anything from any of my concerts?
I have seen several of your concerts.
And you didn't learn anything from this?
I learned that the audience reacts well to provocation.
Uh, yeah, we're gonna have to work on this. My best advice would be to get a little closer to Echo. And just get some additional perspective on how things are gonna run.
Of course, she is, as the longest surviving homunculus, she has much information to impart to me.
And she's also smart, and as your older sister, I think she'd be able to help you out.
I'm sure she has much to offer.
And, maybe she can teach you how to act around friends.
That is admittedly an area that was limited in my programming.
Yeah, and that's why that programming wasn't perfect. But that's okay.
Oh, I think that is her now. I can feel her entering our proximity. If you wish to see her, I believe she is going up the stairs.
It's gonna run out.
I was gonna say, Iden might run into her if he's like going down the stairs and stuff, because he was looking for her.
Yeah, we're just going to say all these conversations sync up because it's easier.
Ooh,
Dramatic timing.
dramatic.
All right, let's grab your girl.
It's your girl, Echo.
I say, is Annis coming out there too, or is she still in there for a bit?
Seems like it was a pretty long conversation, so I don't know.
Okay.
Dramatically speaking, we'll say that you've all synced up if you want to. It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Each of you had relatively long conversations. We can say they synced up if we factor in people moving around. If you wish, you can be there.
I guess at some point I would have left to go find the other two.
Fair enough. Hooray.
Sorry, I was
Popping
updating
out.
my notes.
Hey.
Popping out those pictures.
Echo.
Behold,
yeah.
they're from different Picrew, and yet.
It's hot young Echo.
Still uncomfortable with you calling her hot young Echo. I was tempted to update that picture and give her like an actual smile, but it's kind of funnier like this. Those Einzberns headbands. Anyway, yeah, you find her as you're going up the stairs. We'll just say it's outside of the room you were just in for simplicity. Hey, look, it's everyone. And not this homunculus.
Yay.
Get out.
Oh no.
Get her out of there. She's just gonna run up and hug Echo.
Oh, hello. I see everyone made it here. And no one was
Yeah.
attacked. Excellent.
Nope. I met your sister.
Which one? I have 46.
The new one.
Oh, yes. Yeah, she stands out. She's kind of intense.
She is, but like I feel like if you work with her a little, she could be fine. She seems really nice.
She is very focused.
She is. So we just have to distract her.
I will try, and also, I will do so carefully because she is very dangerous.
I told her how to waltz.
Well, that's good. I'm sure she appreciated that. And she didn't try to disintegrate you or anything?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Good, good.
Has
She almost
done that
melted
before?
Kwaku at one point.
No. She's only been around for 8 hours. How is that possible?
Yep. That he's been keeping away from her since.
She said she doesn't know how to react to friends being around, so I'm just like, okay, no, Echo has to teach you that.
I will try to get her better about that.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to the castle. As you can see, we have many more sisters, and some of them are more intense than others. I heard you found your way to the bath again?
Oh yeah, it was nice. Except there were 2 people in there, but
Better than the methods, I suppose.
it's true. Oh yeah, how's your werewolf friend?
He's doing well. He's been helping out direct the homunculi in the field to do a better job of securing the place. He and the phantasmal species have been working with us better, although now it's a bit of a challenge to keep the golem running things from taking back some of the things that I offered them for their assistance.
Oh no, what has he been taking back?
Nothing yet, but we offered them, additional support and resources and a little more freedom to move about the lands. And he is protectionist, and so he's reinforcing the barriers, and we had to debate for some time, to the extent that one can debate with a castle, the nature of the statue that holds the beast at bay.
What?
He wanted it to be back up and fully running, and I, per previous arrangements with them, made it clear that it is only meant to be used in emergencies and more to announce a danger than to enforce destruction of a danger. So it's a back and forth. He doesn't handle change well, as is his nature.
I mean, he went from being one way to being a specifically 3'11" thing, so
I'm not sure that he can tell the difference yet.
ugh.
Perhaps when he's
Oh,
up and
he
about,
will.
it'll be more clear, but for now, we are all ants upon his body.
Gross. Ew, gross.
I made a point of not saying spiders for your benefit.
Oh god,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. You'd think I would be used to it by now.
Iden, as you're going down the stairs, you can see a white wolf, and you can overhear them talking.
I can hear the wolf talking.
No.
Yeah, the wolf is going.
It's Ilya. I want to pet Ilya.
Ilya allows it.
Aiden's just mostly making eyes at Annis and Penelope like he wants to get the fuck out of the castle at this point, and like potentially talk to Echo, but not in the castle.
Annis
Oh,
is
wait.
also there.
Yeah,
Oh my
Annis
God.
is also there.
Okay, wait. Echo, hear me out. We take Umbra out on the town. We take her on adventures.
I don't think she would do that.
Why not?
I think she was programmed to avoid such things. I'm considered to be a bit of a bad influence at this point.
Wait,
I'm
who
the
called
only
you a bad
homunculus
influence?
currently allowed to leave, and only for the purposes of interacting with the outside world as I did before.
Okay, so who called you a bad influence?
The castle.
All right, I'm gonna go have a talk with him right now.
I
Well,
would
the
recommend
castle's-
against it.
Look, Aiden like steps up. The castle is not good. You're amazing, Echo. So just take that. And he just says it loudly so like the castle can hear. And he just looks up. You're amazing. He leaves it at that. Like y'all can tell he's actually a little bit peeved right now.
Everything okay?
It will be when I leave here.
Oh,
Do we need to go have a private conversation with Kwaku?
Sure.
oh
I'll
dear.
go talk to Kwaku. And he like looks at Anis if she wants to follow, because he doesn't know the type of like watching this castle does if it's just voice. But he'd rather just leave the castle. Like he just wants to exit it.
Good to see you again, Echo.
You as well. So you guys going off to Kwaku's again?
Yeah.
I guess.
Slide him in. Yeah.
Into the room with you.
Is Ilya going to come?
Uh,
Not Ilya. Echo.
I mean,
Echo.
both can. They will,
Oh.
as long as you let them in. Like, she respects your privacy.
Woo. All right. Yeah.
Oh, good, it's a party.
Again.
Party in Kwaku's room.
I found them. I achieved my goal.
He has the spiders repeat their little miniature bounded field. Okay, so we're all in
Alright.
here and we're all in agreement. This place is crazy, right?
Yes, no, I agree. I don't like this castle.
I don't know.
Echo,
The new lady
you are-
seems really nice.
The what lady?
Oh, you met her.
Did
the
she
one
try to
that-
disintegrate you?
No, we danced.
That is not fair at all.
Look, I think if you give her another shot, she won't disintegrate you.
If I
Well,
give
if
her
she
another
follows
shot,
what
she
the
might
castle
hit.
wants- Yeah, honestly. No, if she follows what the castle wants, the castle apparently thinks that killing masters is the best way to win a grail war and would kill everybody and just to forego the servant. Like, he is very fine with killing people.
Of
well,
course he is.
I mean, most of the other people in the Grill War are going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's a concern in general because reasons. So even if she dances with people, and that's the one that's going in, that's the way that he said it. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up being what Miss Luvia warned us about. Let's just put it that way.
Lovisa?
Luvisa, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? What did she warn us about?
Out of
Assassins will target the nice masters. They don't want to kill people.
Oh. I mean, that does make sense.
the way that he talked.
Everyone else that enters this war is probably going to come after masters. And we've probably got big old targets on our heads because we are the nice ones that don't want to kill. That's just how it is.
Yep. He apparently is sticking with the homunculus that you have met. And that is that.
So, she danced with you? She's nice?
I mean, she was nice to me. Apparently, she's seen some of my concerts.
Wait, as in she was there?
No, she apparently watched videos of them.
Oh,
I did that.
Cool.
I snuck those in.
Penelope just hops up and gives Echo a high five.
I'm a bad influence. I give her subversive entertainment while she was still in the pod.
Proud of you.
Gosh,
Is that-
Penelope, we're such bad influences.
I'm a terrible influence.
I mean, do you think that she could become, not as crazy as the castle?
Just to be clear, the castle is not... It's a golem. It has objectives, and it follows those objectives, and it does not stray from them. It's not really here to learn and adapt beyond the best way to secure its objective, which is the winning of the war and the wish. Each of us are created with a purpose too, but we are allowed a bit more leeway. We have more experiences than it does because we can leave, theoretically. That's part of why he's not letting them leave until the war happens.
So you said he'd be done in about a week, right?
That's my estimate.
So what I'm hearing is he needs to go out and experience the world.
I think if you take him too far from the castle, it will stop working.
Oh. Well, then she needs to experience the world.
He might see that as master tampering.
Then we need to shut down the golem.
That could also be a thing that you could try to do.
Okay, so how do we do that?
How it would.
Well, the same way that Einosh did.
What, plant a giant tree in the middle of the castle?
Yeah, well, no, with violence.
Is there a slightly less violent / tree-filled solution?
I could take a long nap until the Grail War is over option. That's
Well,
not like
we know.
a nap.
I mean, we can be sure that he himself will not be in the Grail War because he can't leave the castle. So
Was
there's
there
that.
like a battery we could remove, an off switch we could push?
I mean, he is the castle itself.
We'd have to find that core and I'd remove it, I guess.
The core just allows the terminal to move about connected to the castle. Like, the castle is still the castle. If we tried to do something to the body, I think it would just produce more homunculi that were a bit less happy with us.
Hmm. Is there any way to reprogram the core?
Not that I'm aware of. When I was first inspecting it, I saw that it was very complicated, but it's ultimately not a real independent golem. It's just an extension of the castle. You would have to find what part of the castle is keeping it alive and tamper with that. And during all the time that I've been here, I have not seen that.
She just looks over at Echo.
I
What
was
about
not
you?
given that knowledge when I was born.
Mm. Well,
I'm afraid that whenever this Holy Grail War takes place, my new sister will be the master, and she will be operating on her direction.
mm, well,
There have been Einzberns homunculi in every Holy Grail War, and in none of them have they returned.
then maybe that's what we have to hope for.
Also,
As horrible as
candidly,
it sounds.
she may not survive it even if she wins. Our lifespans are
Yeah.
known to be short, and I'm only here because of Anis's assistance.
Ugh. Hmm.
That whole crazy wish the castle thinks is the answer. The whole no bodies, blah blah blah. That wouldn't even apply to her then. If she's dead, that's
If she
I don't
wins and she gets her wish, then her body ceasing to function with time won't matter. It is
still
actually
think
the
that
only way that she knows to survive it.
I don't know, Annis, could you make her a potion?
I suppose I could. Anything is possible.
you
I could
turned me
try
into
at
a
least.
human.
I mean, I already have the formula for the one that worked on Echo, so her physical makeup can't be that different.
Uh, it is a bit different. My body was designed to be a backup for another who had a unique physical makeup.
Hmm.
Unlike me, I would wager that my sister's body is largely comprised of magic circuits. She is a
Hmm.
walking weapon. Or dancing in this case.
I don't like that. I feel like she doesn't really have a choice. She's just told what to do, and that's not okay. I don't like any of this. I'm gonna be real honest, Echo. I don't like any of this castle, and I don't like what's going on with all of you. You should be able to leave. You should be able to do what you want.
I'm in a unique position because my role was meant to be more independent. I needed to be
I
compatible with one who was only partially a homunculus. So I'm free to leave, but most of them are bound here, and when they die, they will haunt here.
She can leave though, obviously, because she's going to have to be able to go to Dream's End.
And that independence will quite possibly cost her her life. The homunculi that we sent to the last Holy Grail War were less than 3 years old.
Echo, I'm gonna say this with all the love in my heart for you, but your family's fucked up.
I do not disagree. They are hung up on a failure from 1,000 years ago.
Ugh.
The goal is to cast that magic that they say will take everyone's souls out of their bodies. That's it.
The manifestation of the soul in a new state that can survive in the world without need of a body.
Hmm.
I like my body, thank you very much. It is uniquely me.
You got the big old horse booty.
There's nothing about that wish that I like. It doesn't do anything good.
I mean, we just have to make sure she doesn't win then.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure that she survives through it.
We could just gotta make sure she doesn't win.
Yep. Just be aware she's probably gonna listen and hurt any of the people in this room. Just throwing that out there. Just, you Echo, because you're not going into Dream's End with her, are you?
I don't believe that is my function.
Good.
My job ultimately is to keep this place as safe as I can. And quite frankly, I don't think I would survive there. I am not on the weight class of servants.
I just wanted to make sure you aren't there, so that's reassuring.
So it will be her and whatever servant she summons, possibly some of your sisters as well.
It's fair to assume a number of my sisters will be going. In the past Grail War, we only sent a few. But I suspect this will be something that will be compensated for this time.
We're going into this war at a huge disadvantage because everyone else will be, it seems, pretty okay with killing enemy masters, and we don't want to.
There are other ways to win that don't involve killing. And getting a little frustrated that they seem to think that's not a thing.
It's not that they don't think it's a thing, they just don't think it's the best option to win.
Strategically speaking, it is the best option. It doesn't need to. They don't need to kill the enemy masters, though. Just incapacitating them should work.
To be clear with you, if a servant lacks a master because the master is dead, the servant will fade away in time, or they will be available for any other masters who've lost their servant to make a new contract. Killing enemy masters creates a scenario where if your own servant is defeated but you are not, you can then gain another servant. Strategically, killing 6 enemy masters gives you the best chance of winning because all of the remaining servants will either fall under your sway or they will fade away on their own.
You seem to know a lot about the servants and masters. You've been around a while, right?
I've read a lot of the plans from the previous wars when there was literally no one else in this castle to tell me not to.
Can I banish the servants away and just remove them entirely? Send them back to where they came?
The ritual will not allow it.
Why not?
At most, they will be pushed away for a very brief time, but when they are summoned, they are bound by the ritual.
It is my understanding that in order for the actual wish to happen, 6 out of the 7 servants do have to die.
They are used as the fuel for
Yeah.
the Grail.
But do they have that choice? Are they being pulled in against their will, or are they choosing this?
A servant chooses to accept to answer the call when you put out the spell. If no servant answers your call, then you will not be a master. but every servant who does has a wish of their own that they want to see done. And the winning master and servant will make their wish. Each gets a wish.
The servant themselves is a part of the magic that is there already. You said the 6 of 7. You said they were created. So they're not the people pulled from their time.
You wish to understand what a servant truly is?
Yes.
And this is where Echo gets to go info dumping.
Yay.
So I'm going to paraphrase it. You can look it up on the wiki if you want. But paraphrasing, the world as a whole has a system in place to protect it from existential threats. And that system involves the Throne of Heroes, which is where whenever someone who could potentially save the world under narrow circumstances dies, or a mystery, of them, their myth, comes to fruition, they're recorded in the Throne of Heroes, and then when the world is sufficiently in danger, it will take them and it will create a body for them, and they will appear essentially as a counter guardian to stop the problem. The Holy Grail War ritual goes, that's cool, let's use that system, and go into that and make copies of servants and stick them in temporary bodies that the Holy Grail creates. So you're kind of hacking the world's defense system for a quick game of murder, death, kill.
And the biggest takeaway he's trying to get from this is like, they're not actually people. Like, they don't die. Like, he's like, his equivalent is like, so it's a guardian of faith, like an apparition that protects things, but it is purely magic.
It is
it has
familiar.
Feelings, and it's like, it's what?
It is a familiar. It is a copy is created of one of these heroes, and it is short-lived. And whether or not it wins or loses the Holy Grail War, this copy will fade away when the ritual is no longer there to sustain it, because keeping them around takes incredible amounts of mana. They are not even the full version of the myth. They are one aspect of a myth or person shoved into a pre-made container, which is what the classes are. And then that is only going to be around for a few weeks.
Okay. And I think his other question is like, do they feel actual pain? Like, or is it just like, oh, they poof, it's over? Like, do they actually have like...
They are copies of creatures that feel pain, so they can feel pain. They can feel pain, they can die, but they also are brought here understanding that they are already dead and that their time here will be short. Win or lose.
So they're already technically dead. That's okay.
Yeah, you cannot enter the Throne of Heroes if you are alive.
Okay.
Well,
you cannot expect rules of Type Moon to not be broken, but to explain rules, you cannot enter the Throne of Heroes while you are alive.
Unless you're Merlin or Emiya or...
Look, the justification for Merlin is extra stupid. That was just Fate Grand Order wanting to make money. Emiya is there because he's a counter guardian, which is allowed by the system. King Arthur's a mess. Don't dig into King Arthur. There's an entire route explaining how that's dumb.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for him is that they're already dead, and this is kind of like, well, they're just gonna pass on again. So that is
what Iden will understand is that, like on the boat when those animals were summoned for the race, they're here for a short amount of time, or like Bartholomew, here for a little while, is alive for the purposes of is animated and experiences the world around them, will eventually poof, except they will bleed on the way out.
Yeah, and they chose to be here. That is the thing. They chose it because they had a wish.
They all answered this because they have a wish that they want. Yes, everyone is consented, understanding that they are here to kill other servants to get their wish.
Cool. That is the major thing that he has needed to learn for the past months.
Yeah. The only ones
Thank
who are
you,
here
Echo.
without a wish are specifically not going to be summoned in this, so don't worry about it. We are
Yeah.
not going through every extra class that exists. There's a depressingly large number of them now.
Echo. You saved me a lesson.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
she had the advantage of having access to that vault that had the whole thing before you guys got here, and she's read a lot of it.
I appreciate it.
So
Yes.
there have been 5 Holy Grail wars before now, and your family has won none of them, correct?
None.
As far as I'm aware, we've won none of them. We assume that we did not win the 5th one by virtue of we still have bodies.
That's right, yeah.
However, the
castle
first
said
4
you
all
can-
ended in tragedy with no winners.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
he brought up the 4th. There was someone tried, or they didn't even try. They broke the Grail, and it caused destruction. Did you guys know this?
wait. The Grail can just be destroyed without making a wish?
Yeah, bad things apparently happen.
And that was the 4th one.
That was the 4th one, he said.
It's the Great Fire.
Oh.
Yes, the
So-
master that we commissioned for that Grail War tried to destroy it instead of making the wish, because he won. Technically, we won that war. Technically. But the master did not stick to the plan, and he destroyed it. And in the process, he unleashed horrible fire and death.
And
That's not
then-
good.
10 years later, instead of the normal 60, another Grail War happened, and that was the 5th that we
Yes,
still don't know anything about.
that presumably began sooner because the mana was not released to the world with the end of the 4th.
And whatever wish was made at the end of this 5th war is causing the mana drain, and so 5 Grail Wars, going on 6, and it's never actually worked. No
Or at
one's
least
ever actually gotten a wish.
not yet. Presumably the 5th one is still slow rolling, but the second Holy Grail War ended in a bloodbath among the people participating in it. The 3rd one was interrupted by the attack of German forces, and that was the one that only had 1 survivor, possibly 2. And then the 4th Holy Grail War was the one that ended in fire and had only a few survivors. And then the 5th one has no known survivors.
So it's entirely possible that we could go into this war and still not get a wish because it's never worked before. So we don't know if it even worked.
We, the Einzberns, created the ritual to that end. It should work. We sacrificed our progenitor to it, so
What
we did
happened
this
with
with
the
faith that
first
will work.
one?
There were no rules, and it was a mess.
You sacrificed to who? Or
The,
not you specific?
The homunculus that we are all modeled after was sacrificed to create the Holy Grail War ritual.
Justice?
It was her choice.
It was her choice.
So
So
did she start this whole thing?
Effectively.
she was sacrificed to create the Holy Grail?
In essence, yes.
Hmm.
It was her wish. The golem was actually against it, but she overrode him as the head of the family.
So she is the Holy Grail. Hmm.
So, like, Your family's goal is to make the third magic happen, right?
Yes.
So, your sister said it's already been done.
It can be cast incredibly slowly over a long period of time by the progenitor of this, Justice von Einzberns. She cast the spell over 1 year.
She did.
Once.
It failed.
That's not what she told me.
I saw it.
Her goal was to save her daughter, but her daughter died before she finished casting. Well, to save the daughter of the actual Einzbern family member who was responsible for the creation of the homunculi. And in fact, Justice's job was to save her half sister, the human child of the woman who created her. And unfortunately, it took Justice over a year to cast the spell that would have released the daughter's soul, and in that time the daughter passed on. So Justice continued casting the spell and instead released the soul of the woman who was responsible for all of this.
Hold on. So she cast it on... Sorry, I shouldn't know this, but I do. Just trust me, I had a weird vision while I was moving the ley lines. So Justice actually cast it on Lucretia.
Penelope just looks over it like, wait, what? You knew?
I was gonna listen. We haven't had any time since the boat. A lot of... Yeah, I knew. I was going to mention it. I needed to talk to Lucretia first. It's been a whole thing. So, is that why there's a dead apostle in her body?
That I don't understand fully. My understanding was that her body became vacant as her soul manifest, and this drew the attention of Gaia itself, because it was the casting of a true magic, and the result somehow was a dead apostle being created who could take on the responsibilities that were left at the feet of a dead apostle who was not actually living up to them. But my understanding is that the woman who did this is still present and still communicates with her based on a limited conversation that she had. But yes, her body, the essentially vacant body of hers, is what became the shell hosting the dead apostle known as Lucretia. And the soul that previously inhabited that body is still present.
The sharing, basically.
They're merged.
Both of them seem happy enough.
And so after she cast that, she turned herself into the Holy Grail.
That was some time later. She cast the spell, but then spent centuries trying to do it faster, and each time it took as long, if not longer, and it became woefully impractical to even attempt it because Justice was incredibly fragile. She was sickly. The simple act of standing to cast the spell was doing damage to her body. So in time, as her body declined further and further, she decided that the best possible way forward was to liberate her own body and become the wish-granting Holy Grail. So she did release her own soul to create the Holy Grail. Also, anyone like 98 episodes into this, spoilers for Fate.
But,
Hey,
so
that's-
basically, the family wish at this point is to continue the work of somebody who is crazy and stubborn, is what I'm hearing.
And only succeeded twice.
But she still has a physical form. Am I not understanding that? She's in the body. They share a body. Am I going crazy here?
I don't know how that works. You may have to speak to them yourself on that front.
But that goes
Um,
back to the castle not understanding there's a physical body.
Well, then it might be time for Lucretia to come home.
Probably have to talk to Lucretia anyways. I'm gonna have to go for the wild card at this point.
You guys are in some weird shit.
We know. Oh, you want to
I
know
was
something weirder? I know who the father of that kid was that she was trying to cast the third magic on.
Who was
Yeah?
it?
Cotton Eye Joe.
Son of a bitch!
Oh,
What?
Yeah, I don't know if he was called that back then. In that vision, I saw I guess her name is Lucretia. I saw her going down into the town and hooking up with a guy that was definitely Joe.
oh my god, no wonder she threw him off a boat. Damn, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I don't blame her. Did anyone ever see him come back up the boat? I don't think I did.
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
I was looking for him just in case I could push him under.
I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully he's just somewhere on the bottom of the ocean suffering, you know.
Yeah,
Don't
probably.
think probably can't die.
Yeah,
What if-
probably.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of information I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
I mean, uh,
Well,
yeah.
now that we're
Considering
in, like, I
everything else
guess,
that happened on the boat, I actually kind of forgot about that until now.
It was an eventful time. You guys have very long weekends.
You're like, hopefully, eventually. Uh, oh gosh.
I'm pretty sure I kind of hinted at this for all of you while we were on the boat, trying not to, like, spread mind information. Yeah, no, the butcher's definitely, he's got some dead apostle in him, too.
I thought that was a known fact.
That was like a story that no one could confirm kind of tale.
Didn't I confirm that? I thought I confirmed that.
I can't remember. All I know is that, like, now that things aren't here, like, he can actually say shit from, like, off the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was rumored for the longest time that he was a dead apostle, and this tracks with the fact that he does exist, and he's very old.
Yeah.
So just a different level of confirmation.
Okay.
He either is one or he killed and incorporated the immortal part of one. Take your
Gross.
pick.
Yeah, like, he's like, I'm sure there's a part on there. Yeah. There's a lot of
Well,
parts on
we don't
there.
have to worry about him for about 5 months, so let's just not give him any more screen time than necessary. Don't know why I said screen time. That's not something I was going to say.
She's like, well, we've got this
It's
nice room
okay.
of
It's okay. I'm proud of
privacy."
you.
Oh my god.
Let's not worry about stupid bitches.
Look, I wrote a full song about how he ain't shit,
He really ain't. He ain't shit. I'm not afraid of him.
Good. That's the goal.
I'm going to learn some super magic something, and then I'm going to turn him into soup. Then I'm going to kill him.
So you're going to learn some super magic?
Hey.
Okay, so I'm just going to ignore that. So the one thing is, we know that Einzberns are entering a homunculus, and it's not Echo.
And she knows
That's
how to
really
dance.
the important thing.
Yes.
I'm sure this new one is great. I don't care about her.
Well,
as you say in front of her sister, I'm just. I have a preference.
Maybe we can be friends with her. Maybe we can reason with her. Maybe she's like Echo, and we can, make her into some sort of rebel without bad influence.
If you guys want to meet her, like, she's not that far.
I'm good.
All right, now Kwaku, this is your chance to get a fresh start.
She very much melted my laptop.
How dare she?
You know how hard it is to get a laptop out here?
Seems difficult.
Do you want me to mail you a laptop?
That would be nice if you could.
How about this?
Her reaction was to throw a beam of disintegration at me, and all I said was "Good morning." I think she was working through some stuff.
And that's how I am in the morning sometimes too.
Annis doesn't know what a laptop is, so she thinks that you're talking about she doesn't even know what you're talking about.
On your
like
lap,
a table or
yeah.
something.
Yeah. They just look at each other. I mean, why don't you just carve a new one?
Okay, so hear me out.
Did she tried to disintegrate your lap?
It's a computer that you can carry around, and if you're not careful, then they get very hot.
Yeah, they're big clunky things.
You put it on your lap?
I mean,
Is
you
that
can.
Oh.
They're called that, but they get hot, so you shouldn't.
But
they're rebranding them now.
Technology is good.
But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to meet her, and Kwaku, if you want to re-meet her, like, I think that'd be good for everybody.
We've got time before dinner. I'm not leaving before dinner.
Yeah.
We know we're safe here, so we could probably spend the night here and then head out in the morning for wherever we're going.
Yeah, and hey, Johnny, you met her too, right? So back me up here.
I mean, she seemed nice, but I got the impression that she was trying to put on a good show on account of all the swearing she did when she stubbed her toe.
I was gonna say, I noticed that your feet are much softer, so understandably.
Oh, because you have hooves. Okay. I was just like, damn, complimenting Johnny's feet like that. All right.
For a second, I thought he was commenting on Penelope being a Lightfoot halfling, and I'm like, oh wow, the racism angle.
I'm just like, is he complimenting like her skincare routine? I don't know.
That was my thought too. Like, why is he saying that we have soft feet? I don't.
Fleshy bits down there. He's just like understandable why she.
That's okay. Like 2 seconds ago, I implied that she was trying to melt Kwaku's dick. So
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's cleansing stone.
Oh boy. And I have a few other things I'd like to do before we leave anyway. So.
I'd like to meet that werewolf.
Check my text. I don't think I get them here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Kwaku.
Yes?
Okay, you know that statue I gave you?
Yes, the one with the weird hat.
Yeah. Uh, are you? Do you need it anymore?
No, I'm good. I've got a lot of the stuff that you sent up here with them if you want any of that.
No, I need to get those mirrors.
Were you able to figure out anything with it?
So I took a look at them in passing. So like that statue, it's it can summon a messenger spirit that will pick up and take the message that you give it somewhere. It's
Oh.
kind of neat. It looks like those old commercials for the postal service.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So,
you can
like,
use it to have an intellect spirit who knows where it needs to go, take it there. You don't even have to know where it is.
do you think I could summon this thing without the statue? Or is the statue required?
I think the statue is what it's bound to.
Oh. Okay, because, like, I really want to give this statue to my mom. But, like, that's kind of cool. This thing is also really heavy.
Yeah, I had to have Raps move it around.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it to my mom.
That
Yeah.
might be very helpful for the halflings, considering they're always on the move.
Well, that, and it's a statue of Hermes, and my mom follows him, so
You never mentioned this.
you know, I didn't think it would come up.
That's fair.
Um,
We'll have to share stories sometime.
yeah, no, oh my god, Kwaku, you would love my mom. You'd love my dad too. They have a ton of stories. Did I
Then
tell
I will
you
have to
that?
visit them.
So, my mom actually did this thing where she convinced the church that there were a bunch of fake holy grail or a bunch of holy grails out and about, but instead of like listing them on eBay, she just like did it through the mail.
Oh, she's old school. Then yeah, she'll
Yeah.
probably have a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah.
Over dinner, we should give Kwaku a much less abridged version of everything that went down on the boat.
Oh
Now
yeah.
that we're not in the middle of it, it was certainly entertaining.
Yeah, for the most part.
Alrighty.
The concert was pretty good, but yeah.
Okay, so do we want to just fast forward down to dinner?
Yeah. Although I did move Diana.
Oh,
That is
I see
so,
that.
like, I want to meet the werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, she's meeting new friends.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna say that she asked Noin where to go.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Look, Aiden wants nothing to do with him, and is like, fuck that house.
I mean, that's fair. It's the antithesis of how he works. They're actively working to change one of the fundamental things that you believe in. You're allowed to not like them.
Oh, yeah. No passing on. Fuck you.
They're like, no, passing on is the problem. We need to just stop.
No passing on
Oh.
and murder.
Okay, so I suppose we should go meet this lady and.
I mean, you guys don't have to if you really don't want to.
I mean, I probably should. If she's going to be an enemy master in the Grail War, I should at least know what she looks like. Well, I'm going to guess white hair, red eyes.
You know it.
Hey, can you help me set up a conversation with Lucretia in the future?
Huh?
I gonna
Who's
need
he
to be the
asking?
wild. He said Penelope.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh yeah. He's just like, well, he's like, I gonna have to be the wild card at this point. I need an entry in.
I mean, I can
need to be
see
able
what
to
I can do.
I can talk to her. That would be great because I'm not gonna hurt anybody for their entry, and it seems like I can't just take it because that would require taking off hands. I don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
Well, I
That-
mean, you saw how Lucretia was able to just put those shards onto good old Motley's hand, so that's the assumption, is you probably can't just peel them off. You probably have to take the
Yeah.
whole hand.
That's why I'm like, I don't want to take off the hand. That's not something I'm going to do. It's like if there was a way to intervene before their hand got there, I would gladly do that to this house. I would just shove my hand in the way. But I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. So I'm going to have to talk to her.
Penelope's gonna check her phone really quick.
You don't have signal.
That's what I was checking for.
Yeah, you still
Or-
don't have signal.
Yeah, you shouldn't have signal.
Okay, she's like, I'll just have to do a sending.
I appreciate it. It's like if she has to come back here anyways, if all of you are saying she needs to come back, I guess, I don't know. I don't like this house or castle, or I don't like 9. And that's not something I say often. It's generally reserved for like the butcher. And yeah, now there's like 2 people, and no, there's questionably 3. It's been a week.
Got a question. This is
Yeah.
coming out of left field. We tasted the Yeehaw chili. Is there meat in it?
I mean, most of your memory of the Yeehaw chili is the heat.
Yeah.
So there's probably meat in it, but
Okay.
mostly you remember the sensation of the heat.
Gotcha. I was thinking that might be a good vegetarian meal for us.
Oh my god.
You could
like-
probably request it.
We like give him the spice.
If he wants to leave before dinner, I was gonna be like, well, we know a cowboy that could probably make you some vegetarian chili.
Oh.
That
Oh
is
my
not
gosh.
in character. I did not say that.
Oh, okay.
I was explaining why I was suddenly like, is there meat in this made-up chili?
Right. I'm sure there's a variation on the name that reflects the version that is meatless. Like the Yee Naw chili or something.
Oh,
I was
boy.
just trying to.
Jeez.
Oh my god. You beat me to it. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aiden is gonna ask though, because he brought it before. It's like, is like your werewolf friend, like, are they local? Like, do they hang out around here? Like, can we say hey to them? Do they have a name?
Yes, I actually would like to meet the werewolf too. I've heard a lot about him.
Oh, you spoke with him once.
I did?
Yeah, you asked for help, and he answered.
Right. That's true, I did. Well, no,
He
I
and the
definitely
wolves
want to meet
came
him.
to our aid. They were the reason we weren't overrun by trees while we were fighting the big one.
That's right, I connected to him through the ley line. I remember that. Yeah, if I can, I would like to meet him.
I have no problem with that. We could reach out and meet him later tonight or in the morning if you wish. We meet up once a day just to see how things are going, but I can reach out and try to make other arrangements if necessary.
Whatever works. We'll be
Yeah.
here for a while.
Yeah, if you wish to
Sleep
stay the
outside.
night, then I can ask him to be here in the morning. Aiden's like, I
Well-
want to sleep in the haunted forest.
Yeah, Aiden's like, I'm sleeping in the haunted forest. Like, that is how much he does not like Nine. Like, Nine has just clashed against everything. And he's like, I want the fuck out of this castle.
Mm,
I'm gonna go chill with the werewolf. Like, you show me a cave, I'm there. I'm sleeping in it. Like,
I suppose if you stay inside the bounded field, it should be fine and you should be safe here.
I'll just go sleep in the lake.
I will.
I
You
think
know,
you would drown.
we camped
I'm
out
not going in the
here
middle
before.
of it.
We camped out here before. I'll go out and sleep in the woods with you too. I don't need a bed in this castle.
I have a cabin if you want to use it.
Oh,
That
I
is
don't want to
true.
impose on you, if you're staying there.
It's fine. I don't mind. You can use it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Anna should know the way.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to be around here more to influence my sister.
Oh, we still need to meet her, yeah. Could you tell your other sisters, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. I shut my eyes immediately.
I don't understand the issue.
Penelope kind of brought us through some water that wasn't exactly, it was supposed to be private, and it ended up not being private because we appeared.
Oh, in the bathroom. They were bathing,
Mhm.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Sending
don't
a
think
scent.
it bothers them.
In my culture, that's not okay. So it is a disrespect, and I want them to know that I am sorry.
I will pass that along to them.
Think of it this
Later,
way.
talking to 44 other homunculi because she doesn't know which two you saw.
Oh,
God.
dear.
I am sorry I disrespected you.
It
Listen,
might be
alright.
respectful in your culture, but in their culture, they don't seem to care. So, probably fine.
I guess I guess. Still uncomfortable. Can we not ever take that entrance again, Penelope?
I didn't take us there on purpose.
I
Okay.
assumed because you're an emissary of the Lady of the Lake that you were going to use the lake. I probably should have asked.
I thought about going to the lake, and then I remembered that the grotto was specifically hers. Am I remembering that right, Echo?
We showed up in the grotto.
Yes, it is hers. It's where I commune to learn some of my ranger spells.
Yeah. So I figured that would work, but apparently I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Gotcha.
But if you guys ended up there, then that means Diana does know what she's doing. So, yeah. Oh my god, Echo, you haven't met Diana.
But yeah. I assume we're all gonna, go meet her now.
Sounds like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Penelope got a ping back.
Yup, she did. I'm reading it
Yeah.
now. Oh.
Like-
Okay.
Everybody squeeze over here.
Or, sorry, he'd wait for the ping because Penelope did say she was using sending.
Oh.
Just assume he's still in there with her.
She'll be here soon.
Oh. Continues forward. Oh.
Well, Annis is going to politely knock before entering.
Penelope's just entering.
You come in and find Diana is talking to her.
This is the room with all the plants. Yeah.
Yep. All the plants and all the statues.
I don't remember which one I specifically used to cast, not tree stride, transport via plants on, but Annis is going to go find that tree. I'm gonna say it was this one.
Sure, that was a big one. It's whichever. There are trees everywhere. But yeah, so you walk into them talking. Everyone else, you get to see Brasfiel von Einzberns for the first time. Echo sort of stays camping out in the hallway for right now. Upon hearing about disintegration beams, Derek is not quite poking in just yet. Looking around
Yeah,
the
he's got
corner.
his head in the doorway. He's like
As is
peeking in.
Johnny. Like, Johnny's met her, but Johnny also is like, waiting.
So
Kwaku's way
Penelope
back
goes
here.
up. And she's like, "Hi, Umbra.
Hello again. I was just speaking to your fellow emissary.
Oh, how do you know about that?"
I operated on the assumption from how you entered through the bath downstairs that you are an emissary.
Wait, how did you know about that?
I was given a lot of information.
Oh my god. Wait, you mean you entered through the bath? Yeah. I missed, okay? Yeah, I'll say you missed. But yeah, it seems you spoke with Umbra before. Yeah, she's lovely. I brought more friends for you to meet. If that's okay.
That is fine. Looks over
Okay.
there and sees Aiden in the doorway.
Peeking in.
You just have to promise not. I've heard that you tried to disintegrate somebody.
Oh, yes, that was in... He woke me up from a dream.
Okay. So I think you guys might have gotten off on the wrong foot. So we're gonna reintroduce you guys. Does that sound like a plan?
That is fine.
Okay. And she goes up to the door. She's like, "All right, so we have a promise to not disintegrate anyone."
Oh, okay.
Like,
Go get him, Aiden.
oh, what, me first? And he's just like, but Kwaku. And he just like,
Also,
You-
Diana's here and hasn't been disintegrated yet, so
I believe in you, Peacekeeper.
you're right. I got this. I got this. He fucking magic words. Kwaku fucking trapped him on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
she's gonna be like, "Okay, this is Aiden.
Hi.
Aiden, this is Umbra.
Hello.
Um,
You have many legs.
You have less legs,
It is true.
like everybody else. I mean, you kind of match them.
There are 4 dozen who are like me here, yes.
I mean, we have matching hair.
That is true.
I heard you like to dance.
I am learning this, but I do enjoy it.
I could show you the dance of my people.
I would watch that.
Well, it's not really a watch. You have to do it, like, participate with another. It kind of looks weird.
I don't think I have the legs to participate in your people's dance, as we have
No,
established.
surprisingly, I think it actually is easier because we have many more legs. The two-legged dancing is a little hard.
I have recently learned to waltz.
I don't think I can do that. Um. So yeah, tell me about yourself, if you freely want to. He's like awkwardly like
I was created
conversing.
to win a war.
Yeah, I heard about that. Uh,
He's gonna just pop out the
it's
door.
just like
Oh no, you don't. Oh
sighing.
no, you don't.
Hey?
It's like, I
Oh no, it's gonna
plan,
grab somebody.
you know.
But I don't see Annis.
Oh, she's already in there.
Oh, she's in the
talking to
corner.
the
She's
tree.
hiding in the trees.
She has an ability that lets her do that.
Oh my god.
Annis is very quietly talking to the tree. She can't speak with plants. Talking to the tree that they all used to escape from the castle the last time. Just like thanking it for its service.
Cute.
It informs her that that tickled, but it was happy to help.
Oh.
We don't have to play it out, but she's probably going to have a bit longer of a conversation with the tree at
That's
some point.
fair. Yeah,
Hey.
that's fine.
Yeah, I think Aiden's just gonna pretty much be like, when she mentions that she's gonna be in the Grimoire, he's gonna be like, I plan to be there as well. But I'm not gonna kill you like you've been told to do to others. So take that with what you will. I'm not doing it.
It sounds like you've made a decision to lose, and that is your prerogative.
Yeah, you called it a programmer, Penelope?
Sure?
Sure, whatever that word was, programming. Obviously doesn't know that there are other ways to do things. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just know that I do not wish any ill on you.
That is appreciated.
That's pretty much all he wanted to do, to let her know. And he'll dance with her later, so yeah. If anyone else wants to talk.
Fair enough.
Penelope's gonna be like, Annis,
How did you find me?
you know what? I just looked for plants, and I knew that I would find my favorite plant nerd.
Yeah, that's fair.
Come on, you should meet her.
Okay.
I promise she won't blow you up. Today. Okay. And this is Annis. Annis, this is Umbra.
Nice to meet you.
And you as well. Thank you for your assistance in recovering this castle. My family
Happy to
appreciates
help.
what you have done for us.
Annis really likes plants. Didn't you plant a lot of the plants in here? If I remember it correctly.
No, these have been here for years.
That's right, never mind. Oh. That's right, you took clippings. That's what it was. Look, I don't plants. Um, well, I was trying to help establish a conversation.
Are you also fond of dancing? That seems to be a common theme with your group.
Not as much as these two.
Will you also be participating in a Holy Grail War?
No. And she can roll whatever, and I'll roll deception, I guess, because I am absolutely lying.
Go for it.
Oh, not strong suit.
It is very brave of you to support your friend in his Holy Grail war, considering he will lose.
I know that the most efficient way to win a Grail war is to fight and kill the other enemy masters, but consider maybe not doing that.
Why would I do something suboptimal?
Because you can win without killing.
And I can lose for not trying hard enough.
On the contrary, it takes more discipline to do what I am doing.
Discipline is irrelevant. We are here for results.
And that is going to be the result.
I do not understand your rationale, but I respect you. I wish you
Why
the
do you
best of
think
luck.
that 3 people that are unaffiliated entirely with your family came in and helped fighting that tree? Why do you think we did that? There was no reason for us to do that. We could have just walked away and left.
I'm not actually certain why you did that, but I do appreciate it.
Think about it. Really think about it for the next 5 months. And this is just going to go back to the tree.
Penelope's gonna reach out for Umbra's hand.
She extends her hand, looking a little confused.
He's like, we did it because we care.
That is very kind of you.
And just, Annis is right. Think about that for the next little bit. Just think about the fact that sometimes caring is thinking about rather than going with something you've been told to do and something you've been told is the goal, and doing what is right for the people you care about.
You all keep mentioning this concept of right and correct and other approaches when, again, the only thing that actually matters in a Grail war is the outcome, because only one person will win and make a wish to change the world.
How about this? I will prove to you that it can be done. Again, I may have to put some hands in your face, unfortunately.
I
But
do
I'm
not understand this expression.
My hooves might have to make contact with you, but I am not going to kill you.
So
if you come at
you
me,
would fight me holding back.
what I am saying is, I fight in a way that I do not take lies if I am forced to fight. I am a peacekeeper. We fight defensively if we are forced to it. The world ending doesn't leave much choice. I will be there.
I wish you the best of luck with your servant.
Thank you. And I wish that nothing bad happens to you.
Thank you.
He's gonna, he just wanted to make it clear he's not killing her because he's literally telling everybody he encounters that will eventually be there.
Hey, Annis. The plant that you're talking to?
She said she'd be right back.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, then we will keep on with this. Your friends are very interesting, Penelope.
Yeah. I think they're coming from a good place, though.
Oh,
They
I
agree. They care about the world, and they care about what happens at the end of this, and
I respect
just-
that.
they just don't want to see. They just don't want to see the good parts of life go away, you know?
That is very
Well,
commendable.
I mean, you've only been around for like 8 hours, but
I can understand there are values outside of war.
yeah.
I just have trouble understanding why you would enter a war and not understand what is at stake and be willing to do whatever it takes to win.
It's fair. But I think the others are still a little shy. Anybody else? She's not gonna disintegrate anyone.
Let's say, Artie's back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anna's looking at that tree that she was talking to. I'm assuming that she still has the ability to talk to it up, because I think that lasts like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah,
Lasts
it's
a
got a
while.
long,
Yeah.
long time.
Oh, there's that ticklish feeling again.
That's a 10-minute duration.
no.
Oh. Hi, Lucretia.
Oh, hello. Hello, very close Annis at the tree.
Hi. Sorry, I'll back up.
No, it's okay. I said that I would be here soon, and this was the easiest way in. Hello, everyone. Oh, she's out. She walks over and takes a look at Umbra. Will you be participating as the master for the Einzberns? I will. Very good, then. And she pulls out 3 of those little shards, and she reaches out and gives them to Umbra, who takes them in her hand. And when she does, unlike with the butcher, where they went in and they like pierced and blood flew everywhere, they just sink into her hand. And she covers her hand with a bit of the same black material that she's wearing in her outfit, so that you can't quite see the nature of the marking on it. But she says, "Thank you." No, it's all part of the ritual. Just take good care of it until things begin. Now then, Penelope, how are you? We have much to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Because I've learned a lot. And
This place does that to you.
yeah. Also I need some help with what's been going on in my head.
I understand. Well, my understanding is that they will be serving dinner soon, so perhaps we should head down for that, and then afterwards we can have a conversation of our own.
Are you gonna join us for dinner?
I've got an open invitation.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, hello, Diana.
Hi. Wait, shit, that's my Penelope voice.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
No, it's finally happened.
Look, I've been alternating between a whole bunch of low female voices for the last 2 hours. I don't want to hear it.
Hi, hello. Have we met? Have they met?
I don't think they've met.
No.
No.
Hello.
Well, okay, so they've met in the sense of they both go to Clock Tower, but it's
Oh yeah,
in
shit.
the
Actually,
in the
hold on.
sense
Can I
that
roll for that?
like you may not have had a conversation before. You can roll history. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
It's like in the sense of, oh, you go to X university? My friend goes to X university. Do you know each other? Is kind of weird.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
You'd be like,
she knows her.
she's like, oh, Lucretia, was it?
Yes, that's right.
You're at Clock Tower too, right?
Some of the time, yes.
I don't remember. Are you a student? You're a teacher?
I'm more of a patron.
Ah, I see.
More association business brings me there than anything.
That's fair. That's kind of a on again, off again student.
It's more common than you would think.
Yeah.
But I
Although
see
it
you've
doesn't
been
help that
traveling with an interesting crowd.
this is very recent. This is very recent. I'm actually teaching Penelope some things.
Oh, good.
So I won't be back at classes for a while, probably. I don't know.
That's the
Um,
life we live.
What brings you here?
I was just delivering those to her. Tilts her head towards Umbra. And dropping in to check on people. It seems like they've had an eventful time since I just saw them a day and a half ago.
So wait, are you arbitrating this whole thing?
In a manner of speaking. I'm enabling it.
Okay, so
I'm a bit of an organizer.
Oh. So Clock Tower is getting 2 entries, right?
That is the plan.
Uh-huh. Do you know who they're going to?
That is a bureaucratic mess that is yet to unfold.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You and I should talk later.
Getting the impression that a lot of people want to talk. It's a good thing that we're here for dinner.
Yeah, you're quite popular here, apparently.
I get that impression.
Um,
Family friend and all.
hmm. How do you know the Einzberns?
We have tea once a week.
Penelope's just like staring at her like,
Among other reasons. They have their own associations with the association.
That sounds lovely. That sounds lovely. Do you? I assume you know Penelope.
Of course. We have a working relationship as well.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't. It's not that I wasn't gonna bring it up. It's just I didn't think I needed to. I mean, no, you're right. You're right. You don't need to.
We fought a dead apostle together.
Oh. That's quite impressive. I mean, it was a tree. No, wait. I have real shit from memory right now.
I mean, technically it's the same guy.
It's the same guy. Fuck.
No, we fought the tree, and then she helped us fight him when he was no longer a tree.
That's
he was
right.
a mushroom man.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's been a complicated month.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'm having to keep track of like information from 2 different people. It's weird. Speaking of 2 different people. Well, everybody else is kind of out in the hallway, so I guess we can all go downstairs for dinner.
Sounds lovely.
Umbra, are you gonna come to dinner?
I'm gonna continue my dancing.
Oh, okay.
She then proceeds to start dancing all by herself.
Gonna do. Well then, Do you mind if I escort you downstairs?
Oh, by all means.
She sticks out an arm.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now the part where I have to remember where the banquet hall is. I think it's on this floor. I don't know. This map's huge, and I put this together like 2 years ago. Memory, come back. There is one. I just don't remember where it is. Which floor are you?
Oh, look, I see Theo. Look in the courtyard.
Oh yeah, he's still down there.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, they're doing stuff. Anyway. This map is so big. I don't know. It's down there somewhere. Whatever. You're at the kitchen. You're at the big dining table. I'll find it by next time because we're gonna stop now because it's late. You can have awkward family meal time.
Oh my god, it's just like the start of the campaign.
Bookends everywhere. You're finally getting answers for like session 7. Or whatever that was. It's going to be an interesting recap when we get there.
I think it was 9.
9-ish. That sounds right. Unintentionally on point.
Oh
But-
shit, I can move Lucretia.
Yeah. I did not attach her to her NPC sheet, so she's just a free-floating token. Johnny is too right now because Johnny's character sheet no longer applies to her.
This is where we had breakfast that one time.
Yay.
That awkward breakfast where you learned about Heaven's Feel.
Oh, and then we taught the methods in here.
Yeah.
This is actually going to walk over, open that, make sure there are no methods.
You fought methods in, I think, the bathtub, and there
No,
you
it was in
found
the freezer.
the frozen mold stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there might have been ice methods. I don't remember.
Yeah, there were
It was
ice methods.
Okay.
I remember ice methods in the fridge.
That's right. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is a big ass map. There's still a whole bunch of pins in it from before too, which is kind of fun. Oh, yep, I have the old encounter here. There were 3 ice methods in there. And by fought them,
shit.
you had Raps go kill them.
That's true.
You didn't actually fight them. You just sent Raps in.
Not dealing with that. Go get them, Raps.
Oh shit.
I think you
Yeah,
sent
and
Raps
Anna's
and
definitely checking for ice methods just to make sure.
there are none.
Okay, good. Now she will say.
Yeah,
Like I'm setting up a table here.
that's fair. Cool. Well, we're going to stop now because it is late. And then next week we will resolve your castle stuff, go back to London, and you'll get your mail. 'Cause I'm just telling you in the meta, Anna says mail.
Oh, good.
Oh shit.
Stuff to look forward to.
Not mail.
Need to figure out a way to get those big fucking mirrors to come with us too.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be that hard.
Mm.
But hey, you met some more characters.
Hey.
And you have some more confirmed masters.
Oh, fuck that kid.
That's true. And now Lucretia's here.
Yay.
You got a collection. Hey, she did you a solid by not shoving them in your hand right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been wondering about that. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, she knows. She's doing you a favor.
Oh Lord.
Look, it's not a secret that you don't want them to know. And that they're not going to be subtle about it. So,
Hey.
you know. That said, whenever you get them, I will leave it up to you if you want to design them or if you want me to. Once it's on your
Ooh.
hand.
Didn't even occur to me that I could design them.
If you want to.
honestly.
Yeah.
Hey.
Make your cosplay life harder. Make those stickers.
I have some for when I cosplay Waver, so
Yeah.
probably not that much harder.
Maybe by next week I will have Art of Lucretia done.
Fun times.
Who knows?
It was
have
pretty
no
last time I
idea
saw
now.
it.
Yeah, doesn't have any shading though.
It's all good. She's got a lot of mileage out of that. And hey, she's not a face claim from Kanan anymore. She's come a long way.
Ooh,
But yeah, so next week we will pick up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
whoa.
Dramatic episode 99.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
London, London.
Yeah. Like, we're probably going to abstract a lot of dinner to mostly get through whatever points you're trying to
Yeah.
raise, and then we can jump ahead.
I just need to talk to Lucretia.
Yeah. But hey, you
That's
figured out
all
some
I
of her
need.
deal. Fun times.
Yay.
I've only been sitting on that for 2 years,
Hey.
plus planning time.
Look, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Fair enough.
Never mind. Ignore
All right.
me.
I'm going to start clicking buttons, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that.